What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 2 of the Floor Spacer podcast. It's Tyler here coming at you from my room at 3:42 in the morning. Yes, these episodes take a long time to edit. But we have a very quick disclaimer for you guys. We're not exactly sure what happened with the audio in today's episode, but essentially about 80 to 90% of our audio is not corrupted, but sort of glitched. You're going to hear a lot of popping, a lot of cracking, a lot of moments where we sound like we're in the Matrix or underwater or like a combination of both. Obviously, it's not how we had planned on it turning out, but the footage was too good to throw away. Obviously, we covered a lot, from the playoffs and other major news stories that happened throughout the NBA this past week. So we still want to get it out to you guys, but if any of you know what the problem is, please feel free to let us know in the comments below on how to fix it. We think it might be a faulty cable that goes into our audio mixer, but we're not entirely sure because it really isn't our field of expertise. So we're kind of, doing what we can here. But that's a disclaimer out the way. One more announcement. We are now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's right. We fell a little behind the 8 ball on that. We ran into some technical difficulties with it, but we're back. And, we're not back, but we're up now. And episode 1 drops today. Episode 2 will come out sometime this weekend. And then next Wednesday, we'll be back on track with our YouTube channel. And episode 3 will drop at 4 p.m. on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. So glad to get that out the way. By the way, since we didn't cover it in today's episode, that Nuggets comeback and that Jamal Murray game winner, fucking hell. These playoffs are electric and we're only, 3 days in? So, yeah, obviously we got more game 2s and game 3s tonight and tomorrow. So, we'll be watching all of them. And obviously in episode 3, we'll be talking about that Nuggets-Lakers game. And who knows if the series will still be going on. But as for me here, I need to go to bed. It's almost 4 p.m. It's almost 4 a.m., but just wanted to let you guys know just the scope of the episode. The same thing with the shorts also. The audio is going to be kind of clapped for the next week, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So we apologize. We're going to hope that it doesn't happen again. And I'm just going to send you guys right back to the studio. So hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and let's get into it.
All right, welcome back, guys, to our second episode. Should be our third, but it is our second.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yeah.
We had some mishaps along the way, but look, we're here.
We are.
We are. Indeed.
Another Sunday where we meet up with one another.
Yep.
And we talk hoops.
Clippers, Mavs are playing, or they just
finished.
Yes.
So Bucks and Pacers getting ready to start in 7-8 minutes?
Yes.
But it's playoff basketball.
Let's go.
We're here.
Let's go.
We just watched the play, and we'll cover the games later on in the episode. And we'll obviously recap the first round games that we were able to watch up until the time of recording. So any Bucks or Pacers fans or Thunder or Pelicans fans, sorry, we record these on Sundays. So
yep.
And obviously we won't react to any of the game 2s because we physically can't. So.
And listen, we love basketball. And we could be watching basketball, but we're here for you guys.
We will get to your teams
guys.
eventually. The playoffs are a long month and a half to 2 months. We will get to your team eventually.
Exactly, yeah. So as y'all can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to go over all 5 or 6 first-round games that we watched from yesterday, obviously the playing games as well. But we do have a couple more stories to get into beforehand, which we'll get into right after this little mini intro. So obviously, if any of you guys are new here, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Also, if you guys are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Really goes a long way. This is episode 2. And we got plenty more where this came from. This is our first playoff episode. But yeah, let's get into the content.
Let's go.
All right, so before we get into the main part of the episode, we'll obviously go through a few quick things that happened throughout the week in the NBA. First one, obviously we got the Summer Olympics this summer in Paris. Obviously basketball is a big part of it. And the USA just released their 12-man, actually 13-man now. They gave it the final guy already. The roster for this summer. Obviously, things will change due to injuries, and if teams make runs to the championships, they could be exhausted, stuff like that. But we'll just kind of run through the list we have here. So the full 13-man team, we got Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and the 19-year-old man himself, Jason Tatum.
No, wow. I'm so excited for the Olympics this year.
It's going to be good, especially now that, Europeans and internationals and
Yes.
generals have just made more of a presence in the NBA. Like, it's not just a guaranteed gold
Oh
anymore.
no, we saw that. What did we see? Like
We
was
saw it
last year.
Well, the World Cup's differently. 'cause
I know.
That
the
was the
US team's
FIBA
not
World
But
Cup.
set.
still, like you still expect
Yeah.
the U.S. to win.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Not anymore.
You got some good teams like coming in, like obviously with Canada, with what they have, with SGA, Jamal Murray,
Yeah.
all those guys. France now with Wemby and Rudy Gobert as a starting front court is
Scary.
ridiculous.
Scary.
Australia, obviously, we know
Yeah.
no Ben Simmons, but we know Patty Mills always shows up when
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
when he has to. And then obviously, Giannis with Greece, Jokic with Serbia, Luka with Slovenia.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Be
incredible.
competitive. Very competitive.
Spain's in there, right?
Spain's always going to be in there. Same
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might even watch games. Like I used to only watch the USA games and whoever they played.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch like the other
Oh.
games now.
Oh, we definitely should.
Absolutely.
Because it's
we're-
gonna be
we'll
really-
definitely cover
Yeah.
during the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like we kind of have to.
Yeah, of course.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I think this team I think they got the majority of picks correct. I have some snubs. I think some guys that should have made it over.
Okay.
It's kind of hard, but I definitely think they should have found a way to fit Paolo Banchero in there.
Isn't he?
He
Italian.
played at the World Cup with USA,
Oh.
Yeah.
so he could have.
I think they should have found a way to put Paolo in there. I think he is definitely deserving. I had Paul
Over who?
Well, I mean, there's going to be guys like
getting injured.
and
Okay.
Yeah.
stuff.
Like if Embiid goes down, I think Paolo's a replacement for Embiid.
Okay.
Or
Well, they'll need a center. He's not.
yeah. I mean,
Now, who's a guy that you would take out for one of the guys that got snubbed?
If fully
Oh.
healthy,
if
Yes,
I
even
am
fully healthy.
I am taking out 100%. I am replacing Jalen Brunson with Tyrese Halliburton.
I agree with.
I
that.
disagree.
Really?
Completely.
No.
Why?
I
No.
disagree completely.
Okay, wait. Actually,
No.
let me hear your point.
Tyrese Halliburton. There's enough scoring on this team, and that's
Right.
basically what Jalen Brunson does.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton is probably the best point guard playmaker in the NBA right now.
Hmm.
The amount of assists he can rack up,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson doesn't fit well with those guys.
Are
not
you
yet.
taking Halliburton's, I guess, ball control handling as a point guard? Are you
Yes.
taking Hallie's over
Yeah.
Brunson?
'Cause
Regardless of the scoring.
Keep in mind with teams like this, you can't just have all scoring firepower
Absolutely.
because you need guys that will replace flaws that other people have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And Brunson's like,
Brunson's just another redundant piece
Yeah.
that the team doesn't need because clearly Devin Booker's a score first guy,
yeah.
Steph's a score first guy, KD's a score first guy. Drew Holiday is a facilitator, but he's more of a 3-and-D type guy. There really is no pure playmaker. I'm not saying Brunson can't, but Tyrese Halliburton is an elite playmaker.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's
Yeah.
one of the best
He's-
in the league.
he's the most effective when he's playmaking
yeah.
Right.
and shooting well, of course. But Brunson is only most effective when he's scoring.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
So that's what-
definitely the downside with
That's what
that.
Team USA needs.
I think, I don't know if Paolo replacing Kawhi is a possibility.
Depends on Kawhi's needs.
Yeah.
If healthy, Kawhi should be one of the first picks in the
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
Because he's just, bro is insane.
Bro is
do you
load
think-
managing for playoffs right now.
Do you think Kyrie, Dame, and Paul George should have made the team over anybody?
No.
You can make a case for Paul George because he has more size and he's a better defender than most players. Kyrie, I just don't know. Like Kyrie's game is phenomenal. I just think I think there's just too many good scorers right now. You don't need to add it on top. And who's the other player?
Dame.
Dame, no.
Yeah.
No. Again, kind of like Brunson, just pure
Yeah.
scoring. There doesn't need to be more of that.
Yeah.
So
I think regardless, this is one of the best teams we've seen in recent memory. It's kind of weird seeing Embiid playing for USA because he's Cameroonian.
I mean, we see it a lot in soccer. I'm not a fan of it mainly just for his sake
Yeah.
because he's clearly hampered. And if he's trying to win a championship, why is he going to play in the Olympics?
He'll be out of there. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not a good sign when you can't carry your own country.
Right.
So you decide to just leech onto the U.S. I understand you can get a free gold medal. I mean, who wouldn't turn down the opportunity?
Exactly.
But that says a lot about his NBA career because he clearly hasn't been able to get
Yeah.
it done with Philly.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, Jokic could play for USA, but he's sticking with the Serbia team. That Serbia team is probably not as great. I mean, I'm sure Embiid could have led his Cameroonian team to probably some nice wins.
He could have played.
You know.
He could play with France. He was eligible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had French in it. Yeah. You know.
Well, I don't blame him. He wants to win one way or the other. So
Right.
Yeah, but is he gonna play a lot in
Oh, he'll
the
be
Olympics?
He'll be
If he's-
starting.
he would be the best center on the team.
Yeah.
He's-
It's him and Bam.
yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Now, but if Embiid doesn't play, because I'm guessing that he's not going to play because he's hurt right now.
Correct. They'll replace him with Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, I think
He's the-
Triple J.
So, what do you think about the size for Team USA between Bam and Jaren?
It's not the greatest.
It's not the best.
It's not the greatest because who else are you going to choose over Triple J? Is it Jared Allen?
No.
We're grasping at straws here. Jared
That's
Allen,
solid.
he's a good player, but for the way the Olympics are stacked, remember FIBA's totally different than NBA.
Yeah.
Guys perform totally.
Now, I'm trying to think. Our biggest threat for the big man is obviously Jokic. So, who has done a good job against Jokic this season? And I'm thinking you're going to get that guy on Team USA, whoever they good
As
against.
far as who's the best,
Yeah.
the best job, or
Defending
like
Jokic.
who's sucked the least.
Yeah. Let's say that.
Wait, so you're saying Serbia is the biggest big man threat?
Yeah.
No, Jokic is the biggest threat.
I could argue if you're talking big man threat, France with Wemby and Gobert.
Well, yeah.
right.
But I'm
that's the
saying-
biggest big man threat
I
to
would
guard those two.
As
guys.
far as
But
big
Jokic
man
could take
threat,
over a game easily. Single hand, we see that.
Problem is Jokic doesn't have Murray. So unless Serbia's got like a good point guard that he could play a two-man game with,
Right.
I think Jokic as a player is the biggest threat.
Oh, yeah.
But I think as far as a big man just combination, France is easily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult. And really the only guys that do a semi-decent job guarding Jokic have been other European players.
Yeah.
Zubac.
So Zubats, yeah. There's not much else, obviously. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
I just kicked
It'll
the
be
mic thing, sorry.
interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how well Bam and Jaren Jackson play against the big guys.
Yeah. I think also we're going to see, of course, a lot of EuroLeague players who are pretty damn good in their own leagues in Europe that are probably going to put some USA players on notice, whether posters, just, because we don't watch them a lot. But when come World Cup, even the FIBA World Cup, but some of them show off and they get noticed and they could be draft prospects. I don't know if any draft prospects are playing in the Olympics this year.
There could be. I think Zach Edey's going to play for Canada, but he'll already be drafted.
He'll
by
already
then,
be
though.
drafted.
Okay.
Yeah, the draft will already happen. So these guys are going to be
That's
on
pretty
their
cool.
teams, but playing in the Olympics before their summer league,
Right,
And then
yeah.
before their season.
I'm excited to see like the players that we don't know about, to see what they do, like to put their name on the map. You know what I mean? Like the
That's
players
fire.
Is Alex
That's gonna be
Sarr
exciting.
going to be playing?
Obviously,
What team?
he's French.
Branch.
He's-
Yeah, it's another
but
big guy.
He'll be drafted beforehand. as
Yeah,
well.
he'll be drafted.
We're gonna know. I mean, Alex Sarr played with Wemby. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Mets 92 Metropolitans 92 teams are gonna be there. So Wemby, Bilal Coulibaly.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Bilal. Yeah, can't
Yeah.
forget about him.
yeah, it should be interesting.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
all right, on to our next quick story. Bit of a somber one. Blake Griffin, unfortunately, after 13 seasons, has officially called it quits. He announced his retirement from the NBA. Last played last season, getting very few minutes for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Obviously, was drafted by the Clippers out of Oklahoma.
First overall pick.
Yep, was right there in Lob City. Won a dunk contest, made a couple All-Star teams. Then I believe got traded to the Detroit Pistons,
Correct.
where that organization completely failed him, and kind of just made the best of what he did or
Yeah.
what he had, and then eventually was bought out, then signed with the Nets, and then eventually just signed with the Boston Celtics, and he was a free agent this past year. No one picked him up,
Yep.
and I think he knew at that point that I think his time was up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think growing up for us, besides LeBron, I think Blake was the first, very athletic high flyer that we grew up with, besides LeBron.
Right.
Of an
I
all-star
could be
caliber.
forgetting players, but I think Blake just was not a shooter when he first started. Just flashy dunks, big body, especially with the Clippers team. CP3 was there.
Yeah.
You had DeAndre Jordan, who was still in his prime in that time. Bledsoe was a sixth man there. Jamal Crawford was there.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very decent team. And then Detroit I think he had his highest scoring season in his first season in Detroit.
Yeah, I think he had like a 50-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he still scored in the low mid-20s in the Clippers, but in Detroit he had a bigger role.
Yeah, he was
starting there
he was
at
the
the end
guy.
of the Clippers.
Bro, he didn't even have a point guard.
He had no one.
That is honestly
Yeah.
sad. Like a guy like Blake Griffin, you need a just at least
Yeah.
a mid guard. Give him a mid guard, and he will be like more successful.
I think the things we remember about Blake the most is, of course, the dunk over the Kia with Baron Davis throwing him that pass in the dunk contest. And then we remember all of his flashy dunks. I was watching, I don't know who posted it on Insta, but I was reposted the video of Blake spilling the water on the fan behind him.
Yes, I do remember that.
When he was watching the replay on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
It's
That was
another
savage.
moment
I
that
love it.
never gets old.
He's honestly one of the funniest players.
Oh yeah,
100%.
100%.
Very great player. Enjoyed watching him play on that Clippers team growing up as a little kid. I wish I think he should have been a Clipper for life, in my opinion. Just because, you don't really, when you draft lottery picks number one, it's very rare to see them move on to different teams. It does happen. But I think he was meant to be, a Clipper for life. It's unfortunate that they had to move him.
Yeah, I mean it's
But,
tough because when you're you have to be the number one option on your team to be the number one pick, and I guess maybe he didn't live up to those expectations. But I mean, like that's a little too strict. That's a little too hard on Blake.
Yeah.
Blake kind of did his thing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to shout out Blake for
Yeah.
the way he guarded Giannis when he played for us in 2021. Because I mean he did a hell of a job. We had no center because we had traded Jared Allen for James Harden.
Yeah.
And I mean, DeAndre Jordan wasn't going to play.
No.
So the way Blake just, he just tried to play bully ball as best he could. And Giannis gave him credit after game 7. Because, I mean, that's a tough task when you got Giannis just running and dunking and just putting his full weight just into you and just blasting you into next year. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the last we saw of essentially a prime Blake. And that really wasn't even a prime Blake. That was a washed Blake. But
Yeah.
But we love Blake. But the question I want to ask you, Gio, is Blake Griffin a Hall of Famer?
Oh my goodness. Oh man. I don't think he is.
Why?
I don't think he is.
Because I have my reasonings.
Do you think he is?
Yes, purely because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So anything the way he played at Oklahoma will have a factor.
In college.
Yeah, because remember, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it was NBA Hall of Fame.
No,
It's just-
it's the basketball.
The
Hall.
Naismith
I didn't know
Basketball Hall of
that.
Fame.
Okay.
So knowing that information, what are we thinking?
Man, it's so tough because he brought so much to the game in terms of like flashiness. We know that, right?
Right.
And he brought like people became NBA fans because of him,
Yeah.
purely because of him. And I think just for that reason alone, you can say that because he brought so much like viewership to the NBA because of like the way he played. But I don't know, like based on his accomplishments, I don't know if that's worthy of the Hall of Fame.
I'm pulling up his resume right now.
Yeah,
I have notes.
So he is a 6-time All-Star,
Yeah.
3-time All-NBA second team, 2-time All-NBA third team. He obviously won Rookie of the Year. He was the best rookie in the class by far.
Yeah.
Obviously made All-Rookie first team because of that, and he won a slam dunk contest champion.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think he's borderline Hall of Fame.
But
I think he gets in.
okay.
But it's gonna be borderline. I think he's definitely notable to be in the Hall of Fame. Like you're not, who Blake Griffin is.
Yeah,
You're not gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
who's that? I definitely think borderline. It's not gonna be unanimous, but I think borderline he'll get in eventually.
Okay.
That's my take.
I'm just a
on that.
tough judge.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
I want the people like that go to the Hall of Fame. I want them to really deserve it.
Right, best of
But-
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you need a championship to get into the Hall of Fame?
I wouldn't
No,
say that.
Okay.
not at all.
But
Because
I think you need to have an MVP. I mean, maybe not-
I
you
think
have to have first team. I think you do have to have
You need
first
first
team.
I
teams.
think if Russ wins a championship, his answer will change.
You might be right.
Yeah, I just added 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
No, but you do need to have first teams. I think.
Okay,
You
I
have
mean,
to have
yeah.
first team.
Thing
At
is-
least one.
well, to make a counterpoint,
Or a bunch of twos.
when Blake was playing, it wasn't positionless.
Right.
So only the 2 best forwards could get in his first team.
Yeah.
Like how Jokic got on second team last year, even though he was clearly the best player in the world. So, but because he lost the MVP,
Yeah.
Embiid wound up getting first team. Jokic got second team as a result.
Right.
That's why we're positionless now, because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but
It's tough, man.
But yeah,
Wait, shout out to James Wicklund because Blake is his favorite player.
exactly.
Yeah,
Just because
we
I
can't
love
forget
James,
that.
Shout out
just
to
because I love
James.
James, Blake is a Hall of Famer.
We can't forget
Put him
that.
in. Put him in.
For that reason, we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to.
100%.
But obviously, congratulations to everything Blake Griffin achieved
Yeah.
in his career.
Honestly,
And we wish him
100%.
nothing but
Blake
the
Griffin.
best moving forward.
Yeah.
All right, moving into our next sort of quick mini story. Obviously, the play-in tournament happened last week. We were going to kind of talk more about it, but because it's already been a week ago since the time this episode's going up, we decided to just kind of quickly, briefly go through each game that happened and kind of just, what's the word? Kind of just give our general thoughts on how the games went, if you guys watched the highlights or anything like that. So obviously, I believe the Western Conference games were first. So
Yes.
7-8 game, the Lakers defeated the Pelicans. Zion had 40,
Yep.
but unfortunately got injured with the last 2-3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
if Zion stays in, they win the game.
Exactly. I mean, they stormed back.
Yeah.
But the Lakers wound up getting the 7 seed, and they played the Denver Nuggets in round one. We'll talk about that first game a little bit later. And then the 9-10 game, the Sacramento Kings eliminated the Golden State Warriors. So just general thoughts on those two games if you watched both of them.
Definitely think that Pelicans game was theirs to win. Zion goes down. That's definitely brings down their morale a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because
Especially he's like the main scorer. And they get 40
exactly, yeah.
points.
Besides him, the only person that was scoring was probably C.J. McCollum and Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram
Murphy.
did not play in the clutch minutes.
No,
Really?
he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was struggling. The Warriors game, I think the only thing that stands out is Clay. Just not making any shots, 0 points.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very just disappointing performance
Yeah.
from that Warriors team.
Yeah. And we'll get into the Warriors in a little bit.
Yeah.
But
But going back to the Pelicans though, I think the injury Zion had, I think he could have played. Honestly, if he really wanted to, because they described it as what, like knee soreness.
no, he had a hamstring strain.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a legit injury.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same thing that James Harden had back in 21.
Okay.
And when he tried to play through it, he was crippled. He could barely walk.
A
Yeah.
hamstring strain.
Yeah.
So I didn't really.
Yeah.
It didn't look like any apparent injury.
Yeah, he had grimaced as he landed, and
Yeah.
he was pissed when he went back to the locker room,
Yeah.
and it sucks. But it was nothing he should have played through because obviously they had another game to play regardless of what happened. So
That's super unfortunate.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel for
Do
Zion.
you think Zion's out of shape?
No.
He's gotten way better in shape.
gotten-
He's lost about like 25, 30 pounds this
He
year.
needs to lose another 20 if you ask
They-
me. If he
they
wants
were-
to keep himself from injuries,
From injuries,
has to.
I just think he needs to get his conditioning up.
both.
They were
Yeah.
saying on the
Conditioning will lead
broadcast.
to a drop in weight.
They were saying on the broadcast, he dropped weight. He's on a completely new diet. Hired his own personal chef, and is getting down to that weight. He looks physically better
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
what we've seen before.
Thing is, you can't lose too much weight because Zion, his bully
Right.
ball is Zion's bread
He's
and butter.
he's still going to maintain his strength. I'm saying there's a little extra fat on him.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lose
you
that.
see it. You see it.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
fair.
it too. Because him standing next to LeBron, you see
Yeah.
how much bigger he is than LeBron.
Right.
Yeah.
But Zion compared to LeBron, it's
Well, LeBron's more lean.
yes, exactly. That's my point.
why
Zion is
LeBron
bigger
is
and
never-
he's as fat to him.
But LeBron and Zion are two totally different players. Like
Exactly.
Zion lives and breathes in the post.
Yeah.
Like LeBron can, but LeBron's an all-around guy.
Yeah.
He can kind of do it all. That's why LeBron is what he is. But
Yeah.
Zion, I feel like Zion is like body type. I'm thinking Aaron Gordon.
Okay.
Yes.
That's kind of just
Yeah.
just a stocky dude
Right.
that can he just moves people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially that's what it was. But
Yeah.
those are the West games. And then obviously on the East side of things, we saw the 76ers.
Wait,
not-
let's talk more Warriors.
well, we're going to get into that
Okay,
afterwards.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get into the Eastern side of things, and then we'll get back to the Warriors because obviously there's a lot to unpack with that.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia 76ers took down the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler did go down in that game. Stayed in the game, played through an MCL sprain, which is like a 2-month recovery, and he somehow managed to play that whole game out. But unfortunately, it was not enough. Butler was ruled out indefinitely after that. And then in the 9-10 game was probably, we barely need to talk about this. I mean, the Bulls beat the Hawks.
Yeah.
Probably the last game we'll see Trae Young and DeJounte Murray in a Hawks uniform. Yeah, it's probably the most boring game we'll see all playoffs.
Yeah.
But any quick thoughts on the Sixers Heat game?
I think for my predictions, I had the Heat taking that game.
Right.
I think Sixers just came to play. I think the Jimmy injury is another just morale type of thing. The Miami did win the second game and are now in because they had their role players stepped up. Hero, Bam, Jaquez, all those guys. We want to see Jimmy in the playoffs. Jimmy in the playoffs is something to watch. And another prevalent thing in the playoffs is injuries. And, we saw Kawhi today get ruled out for game one. Giannis, it's a prevalent discussion in the playoff community right now.
Let me check actually if Giannis is available today. I think the other thing too, if Jimmy doesn't get hurt, the Heat win that game.
You think so?
Yes.
What was the score when he went down?
It was like really early in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Nick Batum literally bailed the Sixers out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He had 3 points at halftime. It finished with like 20.
Yeah.
So he hit a bunch of threes in the fourth quarter. I saw his wife tweet that he's like, that's why the fuck Nick Batum in.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's another good veteran that's been on that team for a little bit.
Solid veteran. Well, he just got over there.
He just got traded there in the Harden deal.
Yes, that is correct.
So ball knowledge.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm checking to see if Giannis is available today. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is not playing. He's not in the starting lineup. But we'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then obviously we had the second batch of games for the 8th seed. We saw the Kings just completely crumble against the Pelicans. The Pelicans now 4-0 against them this season. Pelicans grabbed the 8th seed. They'll play the Thunder tonight at the time of recording. Mm-hmm. And the Miami Heat, obviously, as Anthony mentioned before, they took down Chicago, which is not that big of an accomplishment because Chicago is butt juice. So they played the Celtics earlier. We'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll sort of transition back because I know Gio wants to talk Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Obviously, another just torturous season for them. Obviously, guys in and out the lineup, the whole Draymond bullshit that happened multiple times, him putting Rudy in a headlock, him socking Nurkic in the face, and just a bunch of other antics.
Yeah.
And then Clay got benched and then just been inconsistent. He's an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
Draymond obviously just signed a contract, but you don't know. Steve Kerr's not really fond of his antics anymore.
Really?
He signed an extension.
Yeah.
But it's looking like the Golden State Warriors dynasty came to an end the other night in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts, and I want you to just have the floor here. And because I know you're a Warriors hater, but trying to put your bias aside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about the future, Gio, of the Golden State Warriors dynasty.
I'll add into whatever you have to say.
Yeah.
I have some takes on.
Because I know you wanted to talk about this. So we'll kind of give you the floor here. For those that don't know, Gio is a Russell Westbrook stan. We kind of covered that maybe 5 minutes ago. But
they should have caught on with the first.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Go for it, bro.
But I'm going to start off with I'm going to reverse it back to you. And I'm going to say, when do you guys think, well, not back to you. This is both of you guys.
Okay.
But when do you guys think that the Warriors should have traded Clay, or do you think they should have traded Clay by now?
No.
You don't?
You don't trade Clay because of the back-to-back Achilles injuries in those 2 years. I think those are just an unfortunate 2 years for him to have those things happen to him. You don't trade Clay because of those injuries.
Okay.
And even because, you're expecting Clay to be the same player he was when he comes back from those Achilles injuries, which is lockdown 3, him with Steph, 1 and 2 punch.
You don't expect him to come back 100%.
I don't. Yeah, 100%.
Kevin Durant is the only player I've seen that's come back better since tearing his Achilles. And keep in mind, Clay also tore his ACL the year prior.
Right.
The problem is with the Warriors' big three, you kind of utilize that until they got nothing left. And the problem is not Klay Thompson. Let me preface that right now.
What's the problem?
Problem is the Warriors.
Yes.
Okay. Starting with who?
The Warriors had everything working for them.
Yeah.
But as soon as the whole Draymond Jordan Poole incident happened, bunch of disconnect.
Yeah.
Because obviously Jordan Poole mentally was just completely shot after that. There was issues with Kuminga and all the young guys, and at the end of the day, you ship off Jordan Poole, you get CP3, which just was not the right fit.
Horrible.
And the Warriors just didn't, once Bob Myers left,
Exactly.
But even with Bob Myers still there, they gave Draymond the contract extension. They chose Jordan Poole. They chose him over Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
They paid Poole. They paid Wiggins.
And now here's the thing, the Golden State management,
Right.
they're going to be known as. I mean, they're great, right? They got all these championships, but here's the thing: they're going to be known as nice guys, not businessmen, because they were loyal to their guys and they weren't making business decisions.
Well, I wouldn't say you have to be loyal to your guys.
Well, that's what they were.
Well, no, the objective was to be loyal towards their guys, but they didn't hold Draymond accountable for what he did.
Yeah, because they were loyal to a fault. Where
Exactly.
But Draymond helped us with this, so we're not going to hold him.
But at the end of the day, Draymond, obviously, you need Draymond. Draymond's literally the engine of that team.
Yeah.
When Draymond's on the floor, they're so much better. He's so smart defensively and really gives it to the opponent. Right. So you need Draymond on your team to be successful. It's just a shame of everything that happened. And everything happened under Steph's watch, under their watch. And at the end of the day, it's just unfortunate. But I think essentially with the whole Warriors thing, it's just like, Warriors fans are going to act like, like they just got rejected or by like their dream school or something. Like they won 4 championships. I don't feel bad for them, respectfully, because they've won so much. They literally formed like the greatest team to ever grace the NBA.
Yeah.
I do think this summer they should blow it up, but
what do you mean? Does that mean get rid of Steph?
No.
They're never doing that.
You said blow it up.
No,
bro.
you blow it up, but you keep your core pieces. So the core pieces of this Warriors team right now are Steph, Kuminga. You could throw in Clay still. I don't know. I think you can see what you can get for him.
No,
Oh no, he's a free agent. Correct.
Can go wherever the
he
fuck
can go wherever he wants. Correct.
Yeah.
Clay could be gone. Draymond, you could see what you can get trade wise, but I think the only 2 players that should be back next year, I think you gauge Wiggins' market.
Okay.
Move on from Wiggins.
They're going to trade him.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only 2 players that should be locks to return next season are Steph and Kuminga.
Okay.
And obviously the rookies.
Moody, Trace Jackson Davis,
Yeah.
and Podziemski. So 4. We're doing Trace Jackson Davis, Podziemski, Kuminga, Moses Moody.
They're going to keep.
Could get in there.
They're going to keep Draymond.
Steph.
They're going to keep Draymond?
I think Draymond stays.
Yeah, they're going to keep.
I
Draymond.
think Wiggins.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Wiggins is going to get
Wiggins
moved.
is gone.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with Clay. Steve Kerr said after the press conference of the Kings game that he wants to have Clay back.
Yeah.
But Clay said he's going to gauge. I think a team like Orlando would be a really good spot for him.
Yeah.
So, look, we'll see. But like the Warriors dynasty looks like it might be done. But with Steph, there's always a chance.
Yeah.
And Steph can attract stars as long as the Warriors can clear up some cap space, or you can get a good return for Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah. You can get draft capital.
It's very true.
But essentially we shall see.
Yes.
Indeed.
All right. So as we were recording, we actually just got some breaking news that all the NBA award finalists are revealed. So they'll be revealed. The winners will be announced throughout the week. I think the MVP gets announced like midway through the second round, stuff like that. So I'm just going to go in order on what's been tweeted out of the finalists, and we're just going to very briefly kind of just give our generic 1-sentence thoughts on them all. So this podcast isn't forever.
Yeah.
But the first one that came up, the most improved player finalists, we got Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls, Tyrese Maxey of the 76ers, and Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets.
We didn't include him. I forgot.
I think
there was a disclaimer on the 65 game rule that I forgot about.
Okay.
That if they played like 63 games due to injury, it's fine.
Okay.
So I think he played like 62 or 63, but
I think those 3 are the top 3. I think that's perfectly fine.
So then who would you pick out of those?
Maxey. Easily.
Yeah. You can make an argument for Kobe White though.
And Şengün. Easy.
Şengün, you
all
can.
3.
I'm not going to say Şengün.
Maxey was an all-star. Kobe White was a borderline all-star.
Yeah.
Şengün really wasn't in the mix for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah,
not bad there. The next one that came out was the finalist for 6th Man of the Year. We got Naz Reid of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings, and Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby Portis is a base pick.
I'm surprised Russell Westbrook's not on that list.
He's barely played 6 man. Yeah.
I could actually see Naz Reid winning that.
Yeah.
Over Malik because Malik's injured.
I think. Well, no, Malik played 65 games.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
playoffs don't
correct.
count.
Yes, playoffs don't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be Malik.
It's going to be either or. It's going to be 50-50.
I think 50-50, 100%.
So, all right, Rookie of the Year. We have Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren getting some pity appearances, right? Because I mean, we all know Victor Wembanyama's winning. Come on.
Yep.
Like, it's not even, let's just move on.
We could skip that.
Yeah,
Wemby's
we're
good
good.
now.
We're good. Defensive Player of the Year. We got Rudy Gobert of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs, and Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. So, Wemby, we got a rookie as a finalist for DPOI.
I think
Impressive.
those three
That's
are
crazy.
Those three are the three I would have chosen.
There's definitely I would probably replace Bam with like a Herb Jones.
AD,
Yeah.
Like a
No.
forward
Herb
guard.
Jones,
Herb Jones or Jaden McDaniels would be the only ones I'd replace.
I want to put a guard in the finals.
Derek
but-
White.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Alex Caruso could be another good
Caruso.
shout.
Oh, yeah, I love
Yeah.
Caruso.
Yeah,
That could be another good one.
I
But-
think that's Rudy's award.
Oh, it's without a doubt Rudy's Award.
Yeah, even though I picked Vic, still.
Yeah. It'll be his 4th DPOI as well.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Rudy Gobert? Yes.
Yes.
Easy.
Yes.
Easy Hall of Famer.
Rudy Gobert is one of the most disrespected
No, he
players I think
is.
I've ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah.
Like, bro. I believe we have the Coach of the Year finalists, but that's on the NBA's account. So let me just quickly go get that for y'all. Yep, Coach of the Year finalists. We got Mark Daigneault of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Jamal Mosley of the Orlando Magic.
I like that.
Mo's
Jamal
done
Mosley.
a beautiful job in
Yes.
Orlando.
I forgot about
Could
that.
be
I think
good.
that's a very good pick. That Orlando team is going to only be getting better as the years go on.
Yeah.
I think obviously the big two are Daigneault and Finch.
Yeah.
I think it's Daigneault's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
so you
now.
get the best of both worlds with a top seed and a most improved team,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
With
Easy.
such a young team getting top seed in the West, yeah. Without a doubt. Is there any others we are missing besides MVP? I just want to make sure. Executive of the Year, they don't release finals for that. Clutch Player of the Year, actually.
Yes.
That's one we forgot. I wasn't really sure who was going to be involved in this one because there really is no set criteria yet. We'll get more of that as time goes on. But obviously, Steph Curry and Golden State Warriors, DeMar DeRozan of the Chicago Bulls,
Yeah.
and Aura Man, SGA, as the third player, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Interesting. Okay, well, our picks are in there, which are Steph.
Exactly.
Still sticking with Steph. But
Yeah.
Steph's still the guy. I mean,
DeMar is an interesting
DeMar's been
third
clutch.
choice.
He's been-
Yeah.
DeMar's been clutch. He's had some game winners here
Oh,
and there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just think I haven't watched a lot of Bulls basketball.
Yeah.
I don't blame
Probably
you.
why.
They've been
But I wouldn't
terrible.
discount DeMar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And then lastly, we have the most valuable player, the most toxic award ever. Obviously, it's the main three we've been talking about for the past month now: Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Aura Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the three.
And this will be Jokic's third MVP in the past
I wouldn't
4
say that.
years.
I wouldn't say it so quickly.
1/6 of the votes are in, and
Okay.
SGA and Luka have a combined 3 votes.
All right.
So,
That's
yeah.
because I didn't vote yet.
Do you think SGA gets?
I think SGA has a shot.
SGA is going to get second.
Do you think
Yeah,
he gets
will.
second?
I'm
Yeah.
going to go back on my Luca pick if I can do that. That's okay. And I'm going to put SGA.
What happened to riding with your guy, bro?
Yeah. What happened?
Because, bro, it doesn't really matter who you pick. They're not going to win.
No,
Yeah.
SGA. I think SGA has an actual chance. He has a shot.
I mean,
I think
the media's pushing him.
the media
now.
is trying to.
They're trying to push
They're
him.
trying
He has
to.
a shot.
They're trying to, but
No,
it's not
not.
happening.
It's not
not
happening.
It's not happening.
No.
No shot.
It'll be closer than you think, though.
No.
No,
No?
it shouldn't
No.
be.
Here, actually, one of my friends on Twitter
It shouldn't be.
has the votes. Let me go pull it up. He had posted the whatchamacallit, like the update, because there's a spreadsheet that shows
Yeah.
all the affiliations and everything. So let us take a look at what we have. So the last thing he tweeted about with the awards was 2 days ago. Currently, 23 votes are in. Luka Doncic has 1 vote. SGA has 4 votes, and Nikola Jokic has 18 votes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's a big gap that I don't
So-
think is going to be closed.
And
Where
I
are the
think
voters coming? Are all the voters are like.
I'll tell you some of the people that have votes.
The voters
So,
are
The voters are predominant
Media
journalists,
predominant.
media members that
Yes.
cover the NBA.
Yep.
My voice just cracked, but guys like Ernie Johnson from TNT, Chris Broussard, JJ Redick, Stephen A. Smith, Tim Bontemps, Kendrick Perkins, Chiney Agumake, Brian Windhorst, Chris Mannix.
Who did
So-
JJ vote for?
JJ voted for Nikola Jokic.
And who did Kendrick vote for?
Perkins
SGA.
voted for SGA. Yeah.
Perk's going to vote for SGA.
SGA. Stephen A. Smith and Perk will never vote for a white athlete.
Really?
They never will.
No, they have before.
Who?
Jokic.
They did not vote for Jokic.
None of those
voted,
seasons?
Stephen A. and Perk voted for Embiid every year.
Really?
Yes. and whatchamacallit, when Stephen A. made his Jason Tatum argument, best player on the best team, when Jokic was the 1 seed, he never mentioned a lick of it until SGA was in first place.
Wow.
So there's that. And
What's
then
that about? What's that about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. For me personally, I like to just keep it basketball related. I don't like
Basketball.
bringing in any no race, no location. I know guys like Gilbert Arenas hate Europeans. Like, lighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
But
It shouldn't be a factor in the MVP.
No.
voting. It should not.
it shouldn't.
at all.
It's stupid.
Exactly.
Like Chris Broussard voted
Yeah.
for Luka Doncic because Shaq has only one MVP. Like, what does
Yeah.
that have to do with Jokic?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So, but yeah, essentially that's kind of the awards. There's probably 1 or 2 we missed, but I don't think so.
No.
And there's no finalists for all NBA.
Right.
So
Okay.
that takes care of that.
Beautiful.
All right. Typically we like to keep things more, fun, good vibes around here. But it's time to get a little bit serious because something big happened in the NBA about a month ago. And it's quite serious, and there were serious implications to it. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Jontay Porter situation. So for those of you that don't know who Jontay Porter is, he is the brother of Michael Porter Jr. He was on a 2-way contract with the Toronto Raptors. And on March 25th, the NBA launched an investigation where a bunch of his prop bets kind of surfaced. And prop bets don't really, for those that don't bet, prop bets only really appear for, starters, star players, all-star stuff like that. So why would anyone be betting on a guy that barely plays, right? Because
Correct.
a 2-way contract, you're both in the NBA and the G League. You're kind of flip-flopping between both, and you have no playoff eligibility.
Yeah.
So there were I think 2 games back in February where he got pulled because the bets appeared. And, this is major stuff when it comes to betting with conflict of interest and all that stuff. So the investigation was launched, and a lot of damning information was found as a result of this. The big one being him betting on the Raptors to lose when he was playing.
Insane.
And you have a direct impact on that. And essentially, he was doing that for a while, and he's such an idiot for it too because he only made $20 grand from it.
Yep.
And he wagered over $1 million worth of money. And look, Adam Silver does not take these kind of violations lightly. And a couple days ago, at the time of recording, he did levy a lifetime ban on Jontay Porter. So he can never play in the league again. I know at some point when players are banned for life, they can get reinstated, but he's not good enough anyways to play long-term in the NBA. But
Well, he was starting to get better, actually.
he was, yeah.
He was
But
starting
that's
to
because
put
the
up decent games.
Raptors had no one left.
Yeah.
But and there's obviously been a lot of controversy between both sides because obviously on one end, betting is not something players should be doing, and obviously the NBA's got such tight relations with DraftKings, FanDuel, so it almost seems like hypocrisy in that sort of sense. And on the other side of things, you're giving Jontay Porter life from the NBA, but you gave Miles Bridges 30 games. That's kind of where things
Interesting.
become a little inconsistent.
Very morally interesting. there.
Right. Like I can understand some arguments, whereas the NBA's got full control of the Jontay Porter thing, whereas the justice system has the Miles Bridges stuff, but still you can control. If someone's a piece of shit, get that guy out of here, right? So I'll go to you first, Gio.
Okay.
Just general thoughts on your opinions on the Jontay Porter situation, because I know you researched it a lot.
Yeah. Obviously unfortunate. He was obviously not smart about the way he went about that, and you shouldn't be betting on games that you have a direct impact on, and you should know that. Especially, how much is he making as to begin with?
2-way players make anywhere from $400,000 to $475,000.
So all that, I mean, it's not a lot of money for an NBA player, but $20,000 to be struck with the ban hammer, that's tough, man.
Yeah,
That's tough. What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah. I did some research too. Even apparently he was working with the bookie that was placing bets on him as well.
Wow.
yeah.
And they were getting in some cuts, and he was letting his bookie know about his injury status, about how many minutes he was going to play, which is definitely shouldn't be done, and it's a lot more work than needs to be done when you're an NBA player. You shouldn't really be doing that. You shouldn't be in touch with any bookie in any capacity that can get you in trouble because they know who you are.
Anything NBA related.
Yeah.
You can bet, if you're an NBA player, you can bet on NFL games,
Yes.
stuff like
Right.
that.
very unfortunate. I don't think we've seen anything like this. We've seen gambling issues in the NFL recently. Calvin Ridley was banned for a season for gambling on
his own team
when he was on the Falcons.
Yes.
The NFL just reinstated 5 players from the Commanders who were suspended last year for betting, but we're not starters. We're kind of more bench players.
Right.
Again, only a year ban for those guys. They've been back after a year. I don't know how the NFL views gambling. It's the same thing with like.
It's kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
They want their money, but if any players try and get involved, they're not tolerating it.
Yeah, I think Silver definitely, compared to Goodell, takes gambling more serious than, as Tyler brought up, if someone's a terrible person with the Miles Bridges stuff and some things that happen in the NFL with a lot of DV cases that happen in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I think the person that's affected the most from this is definitely Michael Porter Jr.
I mean, it's obviously quite clearly Jontay Porter.
Right.
He threw his life away.
Yes, I would. I think, his
career. Yeah.
I think, of course, definitely Jontay's affected this.
Yeah.
I think MPJ's getting a lot of the backlash.
Yeah.
Being the brother, and
there were Laker fans, jokingly, obviously, but there were Laker fans saying, they should suspend Michael Porter.
Out of speculation.
Out of association, speculation, and the Porters are a big family. They have 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah, they have 5.
And it's very surprising. 5. Michael Porter seems like a very good guy.
He is.
Right? And he probably is. And I've seen him on other podcasts as well. But
he's definitely out of pocket. He has his own podcast, Curious Mike, which you guys could I should recommend you guys check it out.
Like it.
He actually managed to get Nikola Jokic on an episode.
Yeah.
Never thought that was possible.
I need to check that out.
Really
MPJ, for a lot, I'm sure people know MPJ was the number 1 recruit in his class going into college.
Yeah. He was going to be the number 1.
He committed to Mizzou to play for Mizzou, had a really bad injury, never played for Mizzou, entered the draft after that injury, and was still one of the highly touted players in that draft, and got drafted.
He was actually going to be the number 1 pick.
Yes,
if he played
at Mizzou.
He had a pro day. He was talking about on either he was on his podcast or he was on Trey Young's. There's so many podcasts nowadays.
Yes.
Obviously, we just added another one to the mix, but he wasn't feeling the greatest. And a bunch of doctors checked him out instead of having his pro day. And that's when news broke that, all the injury stuff, everything like that. Because he had back surgery previously.
Yes.
And the Clippers doctor said he would never play again.
Wow.
And obviously, he
rough.
fell all the way from 1 to 14, right at the end of the lottery to the Denver
Which is not
Nuggets.
that far down.
Not that far.
It's far for a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
He fell all the way to the back end of the lottery. And the Nuggets took a chance on him.
And they
they let him take his time. He had another back surgery. And then obviously the second MVP season for Jokic, the 21-22 season, MPJ got hurt 9 games in, had another back surgery. That's the 3rd one. But they let him rest.
Yeah.
Unlike the Nets when they made Ben Simmons come back 5 months after back surgery.
Can't mess around with the back.
Exactly.
No.
Kind of the hub for everything.
Yeah.
So, and look, I mean, I think that's also a testament to the Nuggets organization.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people can go through things off the court, and he said it last night, obviously he said some bad and sad stuff happened to his brothers, but he got 15, 16 more brothers here. He doesn't want to let them down.
Exactly.
So
that's facts.
And then for other people who didn't know, but aside from Jontay, Michael Porter's other brother, Coben, just got sentenced to 6 years in prison for a fatal DUI crash where he killed somebody.
When was this?
It's like
last
year or 2 ago.
Yeah. So
court systems are slow. It takes a while.
He got sentenced, I think, 2 days after Jontay's lifetime ban.
It was actually.
Wow.
It was actually.
I don't remember.
It was like 4 days ago, but MPJ was at his trial 2 days ago from time of recording. So recorded this on Sunday. Game 1 was on Saturday. Friday he was trying to testify and just in support of his brother.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But Michael Porter has been through a lot, his own and his family stuff, and obviously he doesn't have the greatest sort of reputation media-wise, just because some things he says, because Michael Porter's just that guy. Like he'll just speak his mind.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
some people will take it the wrong way, and obviously, just some people just like to meme his game. Like he doesn't pass the ball. Like Michael never swing the rock Porter, or Michael the possession ends here Porter Jr. So like the kid's been through a lot, and I really feel for him. But look, I mean, he was hooping last night, but we'll talk about that later.
Was.
But
He's a great player.
Yeah,
he was
great player. 6'10" sniper, like. It's crazy.
That's a championship piece right there.
It is.
Exactly. But back to the dumbass, his brother, unfortunately.
Jontay.
Where do you see this kind of taking the NBA? Like, do you think there will be more players caught with this sort of thing? What happens if a star player gets caught? Will the punishment be the same?
Now, here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
I think the NBA, so they're scared to have this happen in the future. And I think that's why they went so extreme with this one by making it a lifetime ban.
Right.
So I think they're setting an example to every other NBA player that even thinks about doing this, whether they be a star or not, saying, don't get involved in this or else you're done.
I just don't know.
So this is the example. I think they're
I
setting
think
the standard right now.
Another word, for example, this is the precedent of what happens when you're going to gamble, regardless of just anything relating to your own self-prop bets and your own team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think the players got the message. I think it's a two-way player. Like, I don't know. If something does come out with another player that's more relevant than Jontay Porter and they get a lesser sentence, then we have something to talk about.
I'll need to believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of the whole strong with the weak, weak with the strong. Yeah. If a guy in a max contract gets caught gambling, get his ass out of here. I don't care how much money he makes the league. He's bad for the league.
Yeah, but
you
think so?
I don't care how good or bad you are.
What's your boy's name? Nikola Jokic. What if he gets caught?
Bro,
is it better for the league that he stays?
I'm about consistency, because no matter how good or bad someone is, if someone's taking away if someone's directly impacting the integrity of the game, they're not good for the game.
Exactly.
They're not good for the league.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
And it's not a good look if Steph Curry gets a 1-year ban, whereas Jontay Porter gets banned for life for the same shit.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a business. I understand it.
Yeah.
But look, we won't know if this is the true precedent until someone else gets banned. If someone else gets caught, someone else will get caught.
Now, what if there's like some internal corruptness where the NBA investigates an all-star player and says, "Oh, he wasn't doing anything," when he actually was.
Right.
Where that could potentially
will happen.
But they can put it out like, "Oh, we found out he wasn't really involved in this when he actually was," because they want to keep him in the league playing.
That's the beauty of present day media. There's going to be so much stuff in 4K and leaks and everything.
Correct.
And even like if a team is cheating, like it just takes one employee or former employee getting rubbed the wrong way by the organization and they reveal everything.
True.
That's what I hope happens with Man City one day.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another day.
That's a story for another pod.
Yeah, well, they're a soccer team, but
they're a soccer team.
Kind of along the same lines, just a bunch of shady, corrupt shit going on.
Right.
But yeah, any other final things on the Jontay Porter situation? No?
No.
I think just
we covered everything.
I think just the usual disclaimer. Please gamble responsibly. Yeah. If you're under 20, if you're under 21, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah. Or just don't do it, because it's something where you can get really sucked into it.
If you have a gambling addiction, seek the appropriate help, because you could be costing yourself not only money but your life.
Yeah. And we're going to put a link in the description for all the hotlines or websites you can go to for help and all that stuff. So be careful, kids.
Definitely.
But yeah, let's get into the next story.
All right, guys. Next story we're going to talk about is the new hire for the Brooklyn Nets, Jordi Fernandez.
Yeah.
All right. What do we think?
I think Tyler, as a Nets fan, could take the floor on this.
Yeah, I probably should.
Get into it, Tyler.
Yeah, go we don't know a lot about it.
This is you, bro.
Right. So, for those who don't know, Jordi Fernandez is currently the Kings' assistant coach, head associate. Job titles are so convoluted nowadays.
Yeah.
He's basically one of the guys that is one of Mike Brown's right-hand men. And he's had history working with so many great coaches and players in the past. Like he was with Denver and Nikola Jokic for a while, Mike Malone. He is, I believe, the head coach this year for Team Canada, as was in years past. So
he was, in the FIBA World Cup.
Yeah, and he's going to coach them in the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
So obviously he's going to work with guys like, RJ Barrett, Jamal Murray, SGA, Oraman. So he was not someone that I had too high on my list just because the Nets season and just franchise overall since the big three have gotten here have just been such a shit show. Just horrible coaching hires. Steve Nash has no experience. Jacques Vaughn was no better. He's just coaching experience, but did somehow a worse job with less. So it's definitely been rough. Obviously, I know we fired Jacques Vaughn right after All-Star break. Kevin Ollie came in, did what he could, but the team sucked. We were like the worst team in the NBA. Like, I don't care if the Pistons won 14 games. Like, they were better than us. And I wanted just a head coach, right? I wanted someone that had head coaching experience in the NBA. So I was looking at guys like, like Terry Stotts or Mike Budenholzer. And obviously some good assistant coaches that have won championships, like David Adelman with the Nuggets, Sam Cassell with the Sixers. He's pretty much been all around. And even like some other dark horse candidates like Becky Hammon would have been a great shout. But Jordi was one of my dark horses.
Okay.
And he's a guy with fire. My voice cracked. He's a guy with fire. And that's something that this Nets team needs. Okay. Tell me, outside of when Steve Nash was screaming at that Bucks head at the ref in the Bucks game, Jacques Vaughn never yelled. Steve Nash never yelled prior. We had none of it. Yeah. And all of those guys are older. Jordi Fernandez is a younger guy. I think he might be around Steve Nash's age.
He's 41.
Yeah. So he's essentially a guy that will get the players to respond to him. Yeah. I think working under Mike Malone and Mike Brown is definitely huge for the defensive aspect. I know he's bringing, I forgot his name. He's bringing someone else over that was announced this morning. But look, I'm going into this with an open mind. I think if we decide to go into a rebuild, I think it's going to work out beautifully. But if we decide to star hunt and go after a Donovan Mitchell or something like that, I'm a little worried.
I don't think you guys will.
No.
I hope not. Because the Nets have a lot of, we'll talk. I'm definitely sure I'll have a lot to say about the Nets this offseason. I know a lot of my Nets Twitter guys we could definitely get on here at some point once we start having guests. And they can kind of give you also more of an in-depth scoop with everything because they get some more insider information. I kind of just get the minimal stuff. But look, I think this is definitely a hire we needed. I'm glad we decided to do it now rather than, if Cleveland, for example, fires JB Bickerstaff, they could have snagged him. So I'm glad we acted fast. I'm glad we didn't wait till the summer. So I'm going into this with an open mind, positive mindset, because there really hasn't been much positivity around this organization for the past 2 years.
Okay.
So I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to be the only one talking here.
I'll
kind of throw it back over to you guys. Pause.
Yeah.
So
I think something notable in the last coaching cycle, he had 3 interviews. 2 which I think are notable teams. 1 not so notable. I'm gonna throw out the non-notable team, Toronto.
That was a notable team.
But I don't think he had much to work with.
Well, any teams that blow it up, or any teams that are like bad, that's a good job because you want to turn it around.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'd rather take that over the Bucks.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Speaking of the Bucks was one of the other teams that interviewed him.
Okay,
and Phoenix.
Yeah, you don't want to be going into those.
So teams. 2 teams that were looking at him. He was on the radar for 2 top teams. I think that gives you a lot to know that he's well respected within the league from top teams, even a middle team that was rebuilding as Toronto.
Right.
He was with Mike Malone for 6 seasons in Denver.
Wow. What years were those?
I think it was like mid to late 2010s, I want to say.
He also was with Cleveland before for a little bit.
With LeBron or no?
I would assume LeBron.
What years was it?
Ty Lue?
I don't have the years. It just said he was with Cleveland before.
Yeah.
He led Canada to the 3rd place finish in the FIBA World Cup.
Yep.
He also coached in the national team programs for Spain and Nigeria.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So Spain, I don't know about Nigeria's basketball team, but Spain,
they've started to get some more players. I know they got Precious.
You know what I love about
Dinwiddie
that?
declared for it.
Yeah.
So.
I love that he coached over there because the league is starting to turn, like we discussed before.
Right.
The league is starting to turn to like a more European style type of play.
I love it.
I love that he had some experience in the EuroLeague. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then I think his official title, from what I got, he's Sacramento's top assistant.
Okay, yeah.
That's what his.
It's basically then David Adelman of the Kings or Sam Cassell of the Kings. So that's good. That's big. So I'm curious to see if he keeps Kevin Ollie on his staff. I kind of hope he does, but I also kind of hope he doesn't.
Who's that?
Kevin Ollie.
Kevin Ollie was the coach for UConn.
UConn when they won the
years,
national
yeah.
championship back before Dan Hurley took.
Was that with Kemba or Shabazz, or was it both?
Both.
Okay, fair.
It was both.
So
yeah,
two great runs
before Dan Hurley took over.
Yeah. Look, I'm curious to see what he does with this team because there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
And our players have gotten a bad rep because of it.
Yeah.
And it sucks because the players are not as bad as people say they are. Just the team stinks. There's no direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you got about it, Gio? Thoughts?
I mean, I'm just curious. I'm just like you guys. I'm curious to see what or how he's going to change the team culture over there. Like you said, he's a fiery guy. That's his personality, and I think that the Nets definitely need that, like you were saying before. But I'm really curious about his play style or his coaching style. Like what is he gonna draw up for the guys? You know?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see. From what I've read, he really likes movement shooters.
Okay.
It really sucks that we don't have Joe anymore. It sucks that he's past his prime because he would have fit perfectly in his system.
Right.
Cam Johnson's more of a stationary guy.
Yes.
But I think they could definitely get him more involved because obviously he's making $21 million and had a shit season. So there's that.
So moving shooters.
I'm curious to see what he does with Cam Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm thinking a breakout year. Cam Thomas has gotten a really bad rap as well. He's kind of gotten the Michael Porter rap where he's just a shot chucker when in reality he's not. He's a good player. He can play make. He's not a great defender, but he can hold his own, right? I mean,
you think the team will revolve around Cam Thomas?
I hope so. We'll see. Well, right now they're still on there. Mikal Bridges' number one option, which is
now. I also want to ask you, Tyler, what are your expectations for next season?
For next season,
do you expect you guys pick up a free agent?
Do you want to save that for off-season talk?
We could save it for off-season talk, but I'll give you a little taste right
Sneak
now.
Peek, yeah.
It really depends because we have obviously the Twins still here, but I don't know if they're going to trade them because I know the Rockets had offered us Jalen Green.
Yeah.
There's been leaks of potentially Şengün instead of Jalen Green, which would be fucking incredible. My biggest concern is that we're going to overpay Claxton, and if we overpay Claxton, we have no cap space, no flexibility.
Yeah. I don't think you guys will.
I don't know.
I would hope not. I don't think that's the answer.
I'm on the fence with it because he wants a lot of money, and I don't think he's worth anywhere near half of it. So there's that. Cam Thomas and Day'Ron Sharp are up for extensions in 2 years, so they'll pay them this year. They'll be poison pill contracts. I don't know. I think if Claxton stays, we'll probably trade for a star.
Yeah.
I think if he doesn't, we're going to go into a rebuild.
Okay.
Actually, it could be either way, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping it's not Donovan Mitchell because we'll probably lose Cam Thomas in the process.
Yeah.
And I think Cam Thomas is going to be. I'm not the guy that's like I'm not a Cam Thomas stan. Like I don't think he's going to be the greatest player ever, but
you're rooting for the guy.
I think he's going to be. He's definitely easy multi-time All-Star.
Yeah.
My voice cracked again, but look, I think you kind of give the Nets a direction. You give them a system. We'll see. We're not going to win shit anytime soon, but honestly, as long as they're competitive every night, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah. They're trending in the right direction.
We didn't see any of that this year outside of the first 12 games of the season. So, that's the first time on the show I've ranted about my Nets. Just prepare for more worse discussions about it this summer because I'm fed up, and most of Nets world is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just it's gotten so bad that I've lost interest. I didn't watch the last month of the season. I turned on some games here and there, but I get excited about Nets basketball. I'm just not.
And that's a big thing coming from Tyler. If you guys didn't know, that's all he does, watch Nets basketball.
Yeah. It's Nets and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah,
of course.
Because it's great the way the schedules work, by the way. Like at 7:30, I'll watch the Nets just play like absolute ass for an hour and a half or 2.5 hours. And then it's great, like about half an hour later, Nikola Jokic is on.
Brings up some morale.
Beautiful basketball. Like it's ridiculous. So pray for Brooklyn because we need all of it.
Yeah.
But anything else regarding Jordi Fernandez?
No.
Don't even know what he looks like, so I'm excited to see what he looks like.
We'll save it for off-season talk.
Yeah.
We have a lot more for that.
Yeah. How old is he, just really quick?
41. Young coach.
So what is that? 29, 39. He is 22 years older than Jason Tatum. Sorry, I had to.
That's funny.
All right. Let's get into the next story.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, into the last part, or the main part of our episode. Obviously, it is playoff time. And the first round game started yesterday at the time of recording. Obviously, we record these on Sundays for those that don't know. We're going to go through in reverse chronological order, I guess, from most recent to to least recent.
Yeah.
Of all the first round games that happened, we had 6 games to go through. Obviously, the Bucks and Pacers are playing right now. Don't really have much to say about it. Dame's got 20 after one.
Yeah.
Without Giannis, Bucks are up like 10.
That's crazy.
So, congratulations to the Bucks or the Pacers, whoever wins this game and game 2. So yeah, let us get into the most recent game that completed, the Mavs and the Clippers. Now, this was going to be an interesting one kind of going in due to the fact that Kawhi was not playing and the fact that Luka's been on a scorcher for the past month, kind of shot himself up in the MVP race. Not going to lie, despite the lost man came in full force and the Mavs did not play very well. No, Luka obviously shot a nice tour date but still scored 33.
Somehow.
But yeah, the Clippers wound up winning 109-97. I'm obviously going to look at the scores on my phone because I'm not a supercomputer. But yeah, I mean, a pretty much drab game. Not much really happened. Luka had 33, 13, and 6. Kyrie had 31, 7, and 4. James Harden had 28 and 8 assists. Paul George had 22, 6, and 3. And Zubats had 20 and 15. So that's kind of the main sort of players from that game. I'll go to you, Gio, since you're our temporary Clippers fan right now, at least until Russ leaves. What were your takeaways from that game since you watched it?
Well, first of all, Russ did an absolutely outstanding job today on both sides of the ball. Okay, let's not forget, both Luka and Kyrie were not efficient today, so that's why they lost the game. They still put up numbers, right? But they didn't shoot the ball well, mostly because of Russ's defense. This is not propaganda. And, he shot well from 3. 2 for 4 from 3. This is great for us. He's trending up in terms of shooting. Very excited to see the return of Russ's jump shot. Okay, not saying he's going to be a 3-point shooter, but as long as he gets that mid range to go, he will be so effective to this team. All right. Anyways, now moving past Russ.
Bro, I was gonna say we had a rare Harden masterclass in the playoffs, and Russ was the first player. Keep that in mind.
I'm gonna get to that. Russ only played 23 minutes. If he played more minutes, he would have more. But anyways,
I think that's how it works.
Yeah. Okay. So Harden, man, I can't say enough about James Harden. Okay. Kawhi comes out, doesn't play, and James Harden steps up when we needed him most.
Second year in a row he's done that because Embiid sat out game 1 against Boston.
Yeah.
Harden dropped, 45, 43 on Boston's head?
Yeah. Now that makes me wonder, is James Harden better when he doesn't play around stars? Right?
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think...
What if you switched... I'm not saying that you should do this, but what if you switch Harden and Russ, right? So Russ starts, Harden comes off the bench. What do you think about that? If Russ is the main facilitator and Harden comes off the bench because he seems to play better with guys that are not, star players.
I'm going to go no. Okay. I'm going to go no.
Why?
It's no slight at Russ.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. James Harden is a way better scorer than Russell Westbrook.
Okay. But do they need scoring when you're playing with stars like Kawhi and PG?
Well, think about it this way, right? The way it will work, Kawhi will sit. The best player typically sits out the first 5 minutes of the second and fourth quarter, right?
Yeah. Harden
will probably come out, let's say around the 4 3-minute mark left in the first, and then he'll play at the start of the second quarter and run the second unit. So that's where it'll be fine. I think with Harden, the problem is I think he needs to be the main facilitator because we see when he tries to be the main scorer, he has an off night, he's fucked. And you saw it with Brooklyn before he got hurt. He was playing his best brand of basketball by far. He didn't have a bad playoff game once. Obviously, he had bad games afterwards because he was crippled.
Yeah.
But I think if you're trying to make Harden do everything, he's going to tire himself out. It's probably why he hasn't been able to get it done with the Rockets. And also the co-stars around him weren't great fits.
Yeah.
I think KD and Kyrie were great fits around Harden. They kind of complemented his game because Kyrie works well off ball and on ball.
Right.
Harden obviously facilitated for both of them. That's why starting 5 worked so well because you had that. Kevin Durant does everything. You had Joe Harris spacing the floor, and then Blake Griffin played the dunker spot. So essentially that's kind of where it works because James Harden needs a lob threat. He needs a shooter in the corner. And outside of that, a better star can alleviate pressure off of him.
Yeah. Wow. I still think, especially in this series, I would say start Russ because he's way better on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, he's become less risky and jumping past lanes and all that, and he's been more reliable and sticking to his man, not getting lost, watching the ball, stuff like that. And he's gotten so much better at that, and so I think he could somewhat. I'm not saying he can lock down Kyrie, but he can do a good enough job to tire out Kyrie on both sides, right? Because Kyrie's going to have to guard Russ too,
right?
And guarding Russ is not an easy task at all.
Would Kyrie guard Russ? I don't think he would.
Who would he guard?
Kyrie would probably wind up guarding. Who started today? It
Harden,
was,
I think, Trey Mann.
Or Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann.
Typically, Kyrie, I don't know. It's tough. Kyrie takes on the challenge.
Yeah.
But will he, though? That's the thing. Yeah, he'd probably guard either Terrence Mann or
Russ if he starts.
Or Russ. I think it's better to have, for me, starting, doesn't really matter who starts. I think it's really a matter of who closes.
Okay.
And I don't think Russ, he gives you that spark off the bench. And I think if he closes, then fine. I don't think he needs to start.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, I think this is a great start for the Clippers. Zubac is doing his thing. He's continuing to do his thing. I think he's going to be a huge reason why we go to the finals. Zubac. Okay, keep your eye on him. Huge reason. Anyways, Anthony, do you have anything to say?
It's only one game.
Yeah.
I don't really take into account one game in a 7-game series. But I think Clippers...
It's a 4-game series, actually.
Okay. Nobody asked you.
Sweep.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Segment in progress. Okay. I think the players that needed to step up for LA did.
Yeah.
That's the most notable thing, which is Zubac, Harden, and Paul. Mavs, Luka, Kyrie. I think there was inconsistency just watching what we were watching a little bit. I think even if Kawhi comes back, I think it's a little overmatched for Dallas. I think just if Harden keeps playing the way he did today, Zubac is controlling the paint, and you got Paul, and of course your bench piece is Norman, and Mann, and who else am I forgetting?
Are you forgetting Russ?
Russ, yes. Can't forget Russ.
I thought he was intentionally leaving him out.
No.
I was going to play along.
Russ, you're right. I think it's their series. I don't know if Dallas can get 2 games. I'd probably go back to 1 for Dallas.
I could see both sides because the Clippers had home court. They did what they were supposed to do.
That's another thing, too.
I think we've seen what Luka's been able to do, but the Clippers have had their number in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's not really Dallas's fault, just they really haven't had great pieces surrounding Luka. Mm-hmm. And the one time they didn't have to play the Clippers. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
I'm expecting the Mavs to get hot again.
No, it's not a matter of them getting hot. They have to adjust.
You think? Yeah.
Yes, because look, I know they were inefficient, but Luka and Kyrie still combined for 64 points.
Yeah.
There needs to be adjustments. Obviously, Daniel Gafford wound up coming back in the game, so he's fine.
Good.
But I think there definitely needs to be adjustments made from Jason Kidd and his staff. Otherwise, he's gone.
Yeah. Wow.
So
it's over. If the Mavs lose
if they get swept, if they lose in 7, I think it's still fine.
Kidd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't think his job is as safe as other coaches. I don't think it's in danger as other coaches.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good game overall.
It's always fun to see.
Game 1 blowouts they are what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Game 2 though, what are we thinking? Rest of the series?
Clippers take it 2-0. It'll be a tighter game though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gio has them going 16-0, so it's like it's almost kind of pointless.
All right, I wouldn't say all that, but they are going to the finals.
Yeah.
16 games nonetheless.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's just a matter of how many L's they're taking.
Yeah.
But I think Dallas adjusts. I think it's on Harden. If Harden has a good game, they'll win. If he doesn't, and playoff Harden shows up, I think Dallas takes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What about you?
I think it's the same thing. I think you can't discount Luka, Kyrie. You can't, it's one game, like I always said. Once they go back to home, definitely the comfortability factor kicks in. You have your fans behind you. They'll definitely make it fun to watch. That's all I'm saying. I think next weekend will be probably midway through the first round, so we'll know exactly what's going on.
Actually, some series might be over if there's
yeah,
sweeps.
some might by Sunday. So, we'll see.
No.
But the majority will probably be midway through, if not almost done. So I think we'll have a better grasp of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Good point.
All right, so yeah, that was the Clippers-Mavs game. Obviously, the game this afternoon was the 1-8 matchup in the Eastern Conference. Unfortunately, not as climactic as we wanted it to be. It's the Celtics and the Heat. Obviously, no Jimmy. Kind of, puts water on the fire. And unfortunately, too, this is a first-round matchup. I wanted this to be later on, but Celtics demolished them.
Yeah.
I believe it was like a 20-point win.
It was.
I want to say.
Yeah, it was 20
114 to 94.
Yeah.
Some notable performances. Bam Adebayo had 24, 6 and 3. Hawkes had 16, 4 and 4. I think he's a playoff riser.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even DeLon Wright had a good game.
Yeah.
17 points.
Wow.
Tatum had 23, 10 and 10. He had triple-double.
His first career playoff triple-double.
Wow. Derek White had 20. Poor Tingus Pingus had 18. Brown had 17. So I'll go over to you first. General thoughts on that game? Because you guys watched it. I was editing the shorts. I couldn't really watch it.
I think just from what Boston was doing, it looks like it's going to be a sweep.
Yeah. Get your brains.
It's way in Boston's favor. I don't think there's much to say about the series. I think just the Heat could put up a fight. They could try. I just think it's just a typical 1-8 matchup. You're going to see the one dominate.
Do you think if Boston doesn't sweep, do you think they'll still make the finals?
If they win,
they don't sweep.
Because remember, little things, attention to detail. They should be disciplined enough to sweep them.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes. Ooh, this is good.
Yeah, if they don't sweep,
this is going to show us a lot about Boston.
Exactly.
This series.
I don't know.
We're about to see what they're made of.
I think we'll have that answer next Sunday. If the series is over.
Well, obviously.
What's your prediction, though? Like, what do you think?
If Miami takes a game at home, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
For the Celtics?
No.
Okay.
Depends on how they lose the game, I think.
I don't think
that's what it really boils down to.
I think if they take one game at home, I don't think it's, it's home court. Your fans are behind you. You're going to have more momentum.
I think
if they lose both games in Miami, I think that's an issue.
Because they dropped 2 to the Hawks last year, and that team they should have swept easily.
Yeah.
So, Heat are obviously better than the Hawks. Even without Jimmy Butler, they still have better pieces.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still banking on the Celtics to not make the finals.
Yeah.
So I think they do lose. I think they don't sweep. I think they win in 5.
Right.
And they show us they haven't yet matured.
Okay.
And grown from their other finals appearance since then. So, I think. Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough. I think you can make the argument either way. I think there's no excuse for the Celtics not to sweep.
Yeah.
But unless, like, Bam has a heater and he drops, like, 40, then that's acceptable.
Yeah.
But, like, if they choke a lead, like, that's not good. That's a red flag because you still got more rounds to play against tougher teams. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. They'll probably have an easier second-round matchup between Cleveland or Orlando, but still.
Yeah.
They should not take this lightly. They got to have foot on the gas the entire way forward. Mm-hmm. And look, if they win in 4 or 5, let's just see what happens in the later round. But
the
fact that you only are getting 6 points at a Holiday, they're in great shape.
Yeah.
Because they don't need him to score.
Yeah,
no.
He's just going to defend and kind of do what he does, and he'll be in the corner for threes if need be. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But don't forget, though, Eric Spoelstra will steal a game.
Yeah, that's
he will.
What I was
the Heat could get hot from 3. Don't forget Tyler Hero. He can heat it up.
They live and die by the 3.
Oh,
that's what they did last year.
So I think they will steal a game.
Yeah.
So, I think they should sweep, but I did predict 5.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
There's not really much to unpack with this game specifically, just because it was a blowout. I think the games yesterday are definitely a lot more and we're about to get into the next one right now, actually. So last night, the nightcap game was the 2-7 matchup in the Western Conference between the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of history, a lot of narratives, a lot of agendas going into this. The Nuggets having won 8 straight against the LA Lakers, dating back to their final regular season matchup last year, before sweeping their asses in the Western Conference Finals, then sweeping them again through the regular season this year. And lo and behold, they close it out with a Game 1 win, extending their win streak to 9 against the Los Angeles Lakers. Wow. The final score, I believe it was like 114 to like 103. Yeah. Yes, 114, 103. Nikola Jokic had 32, 12, and 7. Jamal Murray had 22 and 10 assists. Michael Porter had 19 and 8 rebounds. 12 points from KCP, Aaron Gordon. Gordon had 11 rebounds, 7 assists as well. And then looking at the Lakers side of things, AD played a great game.
Yes.
32 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists.
Solid defense.
LeBron had 27, 6 and 8, albeit he scored most of those in the first half.
Yeah.
D'Lo went 1 of 9 from 3,
That's
13 points. Reeves had 13 points. So, yeah, I mean, to me at least, I knew every game was going to be close. But as far as, like, the Lakers have no answer for Denver in the half court. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
Especially in the clutch. In clutch time, Denver can get whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. But I'll go to you first, Gio.
Yeah.
As far as the game last night, any takeaways from sort of both ends, both teams?
Well, what I took away was that the Lakers aren't...
And feel free to elaborate as well.
Yeah,
plenty of time.
I will. What I got was that the only smart player on the Lakers is LeBron James. No one else plays with their head. And I got that. I saw it. All it took was one play where the Nuggets do their classic pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Jokic, right? Then Murray swings it over to Jokic. Jokic is wide open so that they have to have a help defender come, and that's right. LeBron James. He comes to help. That leaves Aaron Gordon wide open for that little lob. Every time it works, every time without fail.
It's always, as soon as you see Jamal Murray do or Reggie Jackson, as soon as you see him do an underhand pass like that, Jokic just lobs it right up.
Bro, every time without fail. That's their go-to, and you have to know that. If you're a Lakers player, you have to know that's coming. And if you're Austin Reeves, D'Lo, you got to fight around those screens like it's your life.
Exactly.
Because if you get beat right there, you can book it. It's a bucket every time. Right? So what I got was the Lakers don't have really attention to detail. They're probably fatigued and that's why they're not, paying close attention to what's going on. Like they have to know that's coming, and they aren't. And that's I saw after that play, that one play, LeBron was screaming at Reeves or Russell or whoever it was.
Just everybody.
Because like he's the only one that knows what's going on, and he can't be the only one on defense. It's a team game.
And LeBron said it himself last night. He said he's never been on a championship team that never paid attention to detail.
Wow.
So
I didn't even know that.
Exactly. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think, and LeBron said it himself too on his podcast, when it's not like you can just prevent Gordon from getting the lob.
Yeah.
Because in the finals last year, Jokic was shooting like 74% from the free throw line in.
Yeah.
So like it's an auto 2 points regardless. But I think I'd rather Jokic get the bucket because a Gordon lob just makes the energy just go through the roof.
Yeah.
Ball Arena is one of the best home crowds in the NBA. So what did you take away from the Nuggets end of things?
Crazy. Nuggets. Oh, man, it's going to be really hard for a team to beat them. Just watching them, because I watched the Nuggets here and there, but just like watching like a full game or like at least like most of the game,
full playoff game,
you could see how hard it is to play. Like because the Lakers had all the momentum, even though they were playing away. In that first quarter, they were up 10,
12,
13, 14. Yeah, they had all the momentum, but you see like once the Nuggets pull off a couple plays, it's over. It's over. They go on their run and you can book it. KCP started getting hot from 3. Porter Jr. is knocking down shots always, and it's over once they start shooting like that. So
yeah, that's why I think no one's going to beat Denver in a 7-game series.
It's so hard to say, but
if anyone somehow manages to do that, like fair play, because like that's really challenging.
Yeah,
going up against that team, that squad.
Now, who would be that team? Do you want to talk about that now? Who would be that team?
Let's go over to his takeaways from the series first, and then. Kind of the same thing as Gio. Takeaways from the Lakers and from the Nuggets.
Nuggets definitely are the team to beat. That's a given. That's going to be the storyline the whole series. Back to Gio, I definitely think with that they did look a little discombobulated. They looked lost. AD was doing what he had to do. LeBron, same thing.
LeBron disappeared in the fourth.
Yeah, he did.
He was but he's tired. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll get to that a little bit.
Nuggets, I think, of course, Jokic is gonna just bulldoze in. You can have Gordon open for anything. Even MPJ is gonna be open. He had some clutch threes in the late third and fourth.
Absolutely,
that was wide open for him. Jamal and KCP again, facilitators on that backcourt. Mm-hmm. It's again another overmatched matchup for Lakers. And who's gonna, if you're double teaming help defense on Jokic, someone's gonna be open.
Yeah.
Whether it's Gordon, whether it's MPJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never understood the double team. It's just pointless. I guess would you rather, like, I guess you want to try and stop the other guys to get him to pass, but like,
Yeah.
you're kind of screwed out of the way because he's going to score over you.
No, exactly.
Because you can't make him a scorer. That's stupid.
But how do you prevent that from happening? Let's talk basketball strategically. Like, what do you do to prevent that specific play from happening?
For which one?
The one where they do the pick and roll, then Jokic lobs it or passes it to
I don't
somebody.
think
What can you do?
There's nothing.
There's
No.
nothing you can
Literally,
do.
the absolute worst case scenario.
No.
You keep back on Aaron Gordon and pray to every god that exists in existence that he misses the shot.
Exactly.
Because the only way to beat Denver, from what I've witnessed, and the Suns have done this a couple times.
Yeah.
On one end, you need the Nuggets to have an off night. You need Jamal to start playing hero ball. You need MPJ and them to miss shots. You need Gordon to just start taking threes. And obviously Jokic, either him having an off night, which doesn't really happen, or him, being the only guy producing. But on the other end, you need like stupidly historic levels of shooting.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But you need to shoot the ball at like an elite level. Like in games 3 and 4 last year against Phoenix, Devin Booker and KD did not miss a single shot, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like they were in the 80s and 70s and 80s of just percentages of those two games. And that's not sustainable in a 7-game series, just not. Right? I think the best you could probably do is like 50, and that's being generous. Like for 2 or 3 games, yeah, but it's just so difficult kind of in all ways around it. And I think if you are the Lakers, I really don't know what to say, really. Because I mean, you've seen games where AD will play really well.
Yeah.
LeBron will play really well. Austin Reeves will hit some threes, but at the end of the day, you got to get stops on the other end. And like the fact that the Nuggets didn't even play their best basketball yesterday. This is just the beginning of what we're going to see.
Right.
Jamal Murray was inefficient.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all know Jamal Murray rises in the playoffs like no other. I just kicked my mic again. Sorry, viewers listening. But look, I think they're just getting started. And we did see it against the Wolves last year in the first round. It took them a couple games to really lock in as well as they played. They dealt with gave them some trouble.
Yeah.
But look, I think the Nuggets still feel disrespected because they're a defending champion that's still being discounted by media.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Because a lot of people are making cases for the Lakers to win this series. And
Really?
Yeah.
Who said that?
A lot of people.
I know Stephen A. said if LeBron somehow manages to win the series, he will be the GOAT or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's saying the Lakers are going to win.
A lot of people are trying to make cases for the Lakers to
For
win.
them.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's just a popular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously
A
it's
lot of
difficult to
things.
repeat as champions. That's why
Yeah.
the Nuggets are being discounted.
Okay.
A lot of people
Yeah.
think Boston or Minnesota or Dallas or the Clippers or Milwaukee or whatever. But I've said this since free agency and the draft and everything. I still don't think anyone got better than Denver. And even, and the casual take, and I hope none of y'all say this because it has nothing to do with it. Everyone likes to bring up the loss of Bruce Brown and Jeff Green when in reality
didn't affect much.
Exactly. They have their production in the regular season was not as good as what they got in the playoffs, and they're going to get other guys stepping up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, Christian Brown.
There's
There's
Peyton
a
Watson.
lot of guys they have.
Bro, the DeAndre Jordan minutes yesterday were good. Like, bro,
If you got DeAndre Jordan playing well off the bench,
if the Nets had even
Good
half
luck.
of that yesterday, I think we win the title.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
wow.
it's so tilting because we needed size that year, but.
Now, what do you think about LeBron going cold in the third, fourth quarter?
So I knew LeBron would. I had a feeling LeBron was going to have this happen to him because we saw it in Game 4 last year, where he just goes God mode in the first half.
Yeah.
And bro's
It felt like he just gave up, though.
not that he gave up.
No, it's
bro's,
fatigue.
Bro's 106 years old.
Exactly.
He's tired.
Yeah.
Like he's
And
going to
there's
run
no
out of gas.
support.
Yeah.
And remember, it's the altitude.
Yeah, I forgot.
So they're in Denver.
I hate that about Denver, bro. Because
Yeah.
they're already overpowered to begin with, and then now you got like the altitude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro, just wait till Utah gets good.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Another thing.
They're not a mile high, but they're still pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my voice cracked. But yeah, look, it's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
But
You think Lakers get one?
no,
Okay. Sweet.
they could get one. Actually,
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's tough because it's hard to beat a team. They'd have to beat them what, I have to beat them 12 times in a row then to sweep them?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's difficult.
Bro, I think if the Lakers were going to get any game, it was going to be last night.
Yeah.
No, because the Nuggets are hard to beat at home. I think one of the games at Crypto where the refs are in their bag like they were last night, the Nuggets had 6 free throws in the first half, took none in the second half.
Because they don't have that play style.
Well, it's not they don't have that play style because they get hacked.
They get easy
everywhere.
shots.
Exactly, but they get fouled a lot.
Okay.
And they don't call it. And obviously the Lakers whistle is the Lakers whistle. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The free throw disparity has been like plus 42 to the Lakers since their series back in 2020.
Yeah.
So, and it's been plus like 45 since game 1 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely can be a factor in why the Lakers can get one. But I bet the Nuggets are going to walk through this series.
No. Yeah.
So, any other comments from you, Antoine? I know you didn't really get to finish much of your point. We kind of went off on a tangent.
I don't really think there's a lot to take right now. I think the only thing is that we know is that Denver's the one to beat. I think next week, well, if it's still going on, well,
actually, do
no, what's going on?
Don't they play game 4 on Sunday?
Who?
The Nuggets and Lakers? I don't know, actually. Let me check. So on Saturday's game 4. Yeah. So, yeah, we pretty much could see that series end the night before, which would be good for us to talk about on episode 3. So.
Oh, of course.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It would be nice, but I'm assuming we're all going Denver game 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think pretty standard, especially if we get
Easily.
alternate days, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think they sweep because Lakers run out of gas.
Yeah, I think that's
after those
from
first
what
2
we
games.
said.
Right.
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's get into last night's primetime matchup between Antoine's New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. My worst nightmare of a series. I genuinely don't think there's any 2 teams in the NBA I hate more. It was definitely a game of runs, definitely a game of trading leads.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, the New York Knicks came out on top, 111 to 104. I think I'd honestly prefer the Knicks to win this series. I'd choose the Knicks over Embiid any day of the week, but I'll get into more of that in a little bit. Tyrese Maxey had 33 points in the effort. Embiid had 29, but had 12 free throws. Kyle Lowry had 18. Kelly Oubre had 10 on the Knicks end. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson each had 22 apiece. Hart had 13 rebounds. OG had 11 and 21 points off the bench for Miles McBride. So let's go over to our resident Knicks fan, because he actually is a permanent fan of the entity rather than a tiny buzz cut point guard. But
Buzz cut point guard is crazy.
But yeah, takeaways from that game. Talk about your Knicks. I talked about my Nets. It's time for you to talk about your Knicks. Be as delusional as you want because we just watched a Russell Westbrook tirade for a long time. So
I think the Sixers are going to give them a hard time. I saw it yesterday. They were up. Embiid comes back. They close the gap. They're going a 21-5 run beginning the third, towards the end of the third quarter. Josh Hart had, I think, 4 points before the fourth quarter. He had 7 and scored the 15 or remaining 14 in the fourth.
Those last couple threes were crazy.
He had one when the shot clock was expiring, just threw it up there, went in.
From deep.
Hart has those games. It's cold, second half comes around, he goes off. It's part of what he does, but he's also rebounding, he's passing. Jalen Brunson doing a thing. Tyrese Maxey was all over the court, up and down, running to the basket. No one's coming near him on a layup attempt when he's running up the court.
He lives for this shit, bro.
I love Tyrese.
He lives for this.
I think Hartenstein tried to, even Mitch Robinson, who's not quick on his feet because he's had like 2 foot surgeries in the past year, just making it seem like no one's there and is just getting a layup up. He's a smaller point guard, but he's quick, efficient. Oubre was efficient as well. Batum was a little efficient as well. Kyle Lowry, too, was throwing in some things there.
Kyle Lowry was
veteran presence.
Big presence.
Yeah.
Big veteran. I think they were missing that. Tobias knocked down a few threes. It's Tobias. I don't really take that into account. He's a struggler. But I know
Tobias gets locked in.
He hit him. I think he hit a 3.
It's not a difference maker to me.
He hit a 3. I think end of third, going into the fourth, and he was yelling at the team.
Yeah,
he was saying, "Pick it up, like we could do this."
Let me put it this way:
and he had 7 points.
That was after the big 3
when games are on the line in game 7s, he shows up and the Stars don't. That's why he gets a bad rap, because he doesn't play well at the start of the series, but once the series gets deeper in, that's when he shows up.
Yeah.
Bro, he was yelling at his teammates to lock in, and he had 7 points.
Yeah.
Bro, you lock in, bro. You lock in.
I think that's a good message. But I think, Tobias, another veteran, but, he has his
31 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Played every second sweat drop of the game.
Yeah, going back to New York, no Randall, it's fine.
I think it's better for y'all.
Yeah, I think the big thing we all took was Deuce McBride.
That was not the big thing for me, but I'll let you finish your point.
No, I think there's another big thing, but I think Deuce is a guy that Tibbs trusts. They moved off Quentin Grimes to give Deuce more minutes. After the Grimes trade happened, they gave Deuce that extension for 3 years, I think for 14 mil, or 4 years to 14. Very team-friendly contract.
Yeah.
Deuce was a second-round pick 3 years ago out of West Virginia. I did watch a lot of West Virginia basketball when Deuce was there.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, they would always be on ESPN.
Were you big on that? Were you big on Deuce when he was in college?
I loved his game.
Okay.
They his name is Miles McBride, but now we call him Deuce.
By Deuce.
But when he was West Virginia happened to just be on a lot of ESPN on Saturday.
They have a contract with the Big 12.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
and Miles McBride was the star player of that team.
Okay.
No one else was near what he was, and he was a player I liked watching. And then when the Knicks drafted him, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna, got to give him some minutes. He can play. Now has a role. He can shoot three. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've learned watching him. But he was on last night.
Right.
And when starting the season, he didn't really look that comfortable with the ball in his hands. He would always quick pass, didn't feel comfortable ball handling. When JB was on the bench yesterday, he took control of the ball, looked comfortable, got a little excited at times, had to find himself on the court where he was. But that's fine. He's growing his game. He's a young guy. And, he handled the ball. He's a point guard, shooting guard combo. I kind of take him more as a shooting guard, not really a point guard.
Yeah.
But he can handle the ball if need be. And he did well. He found open passes, whether that be to Hart, to Jontay. Mitch got some passes inside to just easy layups.
Mm-hmm.
But if he keeps playing the way he is, he's gonna be a good bench piece. He can even start some games if someone's injured. Why not? Bojan got some minutes yesterday. Bojan and Burks haven't really looked good ever since that trade happened.
Shot well from three.
They're
good on the offensive end. Bojan's home.
I don't think Burks got any minutes yesterday.
No, he's not going to.
He was on the bench. Bojan got minutes. Mitch and Isaiah Hartenstein traded time. I don't think Precious played at all yesterday.
No.
All I
Precious.
saw off the bench was just Deuce, Mitch, and that was it.
Yeah, Tibbs barely plays a big rotation in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let me preface this.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson needs to step the fuck up.
Oh, well.
That was atrocious what I saw last night.
That's facts. But you expect him to get his.
I'm concerned. Sixers have so much more size.
Yeah.
And if you look at last year, the Cavs team was not good in the playoffs, and the Heat were the Heat, and Brunson couldn't carry them over the hump.
Yeah, JB looked a little frustrated.
I'm concerned.
Yesterday.
If I'm a Knicks,
Brunson?
I'm concerned with that
I'm not
Brunson
concerned.
game.
I think he will come back. He'll be ready to go.
I don't know. If Embiid's not playing, then obviously he'll be fine. I'm not sold on Brunson right now.
Okay.
I don't like what I saw yesterday.
He looked a little frustrated, I think.
Well, yeah. If you're not shooting well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but he'll have those times.
Yeah.
I think also maybe just the first game home vibes get you a little.
That usually gets you positively
Yeah, it should get you
excited.
positively. Yeah, but a lot of energy going, a lot of just
It's always
media attention too. into
It's
that
tough
first
with
game.
Philly because Philly outside of the Lakers have the best whistle in the NBA. So, and you saw yesterday, Embiid literally bumped into someone, just kind of flopped and just threw it up in the air.
Yeah.
That's not playoff basketball.
No, and that's why he hasn't gotten past the second round.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't think I'm nervous for the rest of the series. I think they'll still win the series fairly
Give
well.
me a scenario where the Sixers somehow win the series.
The Sixers somehow
What needs
win.
to happen for them to win?
Embiid's got to be fully healthy.
well, that's not happening.
He's not fully healthy. So
Yeah.
what needs to happen in terms of what happens to the Knicks or what happens to the Sixers? What needs to happen?
Knicks got to take advantage, man.
That's exactly what it is.
Embiid's not healthy.
Embiid's not there.
Embiid's not healthy.
Maxey can take them far. I don't know how far it is, but they could probably get a game or two at home if Maxey is on both those nights, and if you're also getting good minutes from your role players without Embiid.
Right.
But if Embiid's playing at 75%, I think they can steal a game or two at home. I don't think they're going to get more than one or two.
Okay.
I think it's going to stop there, and Knicks are going to take over those other games at home, and you're not going to have Jalen Brunson shooting awful for all four of those games they're going to win.
Yeah.
You're not going to have Jontay shooting bad.
Right.
Josh Hart's going to be fine.
He's not going to shoot the way he did.
I'll believe it when I see it, man. We've seen countless times with hot shooters in the regular season that finally get guarded properly in the playoffs. And it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Nah,
But
I think it was a really nervous first game, a little rocky.
It should not have gone as close as it should have.
It should not have been as close. I will agree with that.
Yeah, but one thing I'd say is the refs need to be consistent.
When you play Philadelphia, that's never a possibility. Never happened.
Yeah.
Unless Embiid's off the
floor. If the refs
floor.
are inconsistent, I think that would be a big reason why the Knicks would lose a game, is because of the inconsistency with the refs. But if they stay consistent, the Knicks should handle them easily.
They should be able to.
Yeah.
But I think the big picture takeaway from this game was obviously what happened to Embiid in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Obviously goes down of a ridiculous poster off the backboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why he decided to do that. It just wasn't smart. He doesn't think. It just frustrates me because
he plays hard, man. You gotta respect.
He doesn't play hard. He plays so soft. Do you tell me a player that just bumps into someone, falls to the ground, and just heaves it up towards the catwalk?
Yeah.
That's not so. If he played hard, he'd have a ring by now.
That's a big statement.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. When he came back, he looked a little frustrated, which need be. He's always going to be frustrated right now.
But he doesn't need to play well for the Sixers to play well. Just his presence, the Knicks are gonna gravitate towards him, try to stop him.
That's right.
And that's when
he can be a decoy.
Exactly.
That's good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go to the next team.
I think that's all I have on that. We'll see what happens to the rest of the series.
Yeah. But hopefully Embiid's okay. He came back into the game. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's definitely getting another surgery in the offseason.
100%.
He definitely re-injured something, but I guess we shall see. All right, thankfully we're done talking about Embiid and the Knicks. Moving into a very interesting game that happened yesterday afternoon. We had the Wolves and the Suns, a 3-6 matchup. These two teams met on the final day of the regular season, and the Wolves essentially kind of threw that game. I'm not sure why, because you're probably going to have to go to Denver in round 2 if you win the series. But the Suns won the game, got the 6th seed, and it's a rematch. Here we go. I'll pull up the score right now because, we've been recording for a few hours. I'm tired. I don't remember shit. The Wolves won in blowout fashion. They won by 25, 120 to 95, led by Anthony Edwards, 33.9 rebounds, 6 assists, masterclass. 18 points off the bench for Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yep.
19 points for Cat. It was like his 3rd or 4th game back from injury. Rudy Gobert played really well defensively in that game. And then over on the Suns' end, KD had 31 and 7. Book had 18. Wasn't really efficient. Bradley Beal had 15. There were injuries on both sides in that game. There was a collision at the rim on an and one in the second quarter where Bradley Beal's knee went into Kyle Anderson's hip, and Kyle Anderson was out for the rest of the game. And then obviously in the second half, Grayson Allen sprained his ankle. Don't know the status of him for the rest of the series. But takeaways from that, my friend Gio, from that game.
Edwards is the second coming of Michael Jordan.
I
should have put him on my juniors draft. Anthony Edwards being Michael Jordan Jr.
I'll rephrase it in a more logical, I think, type of. He's not the next. If I'm being honest with you, he's the new face of the league.
Okay.
I don't think that goes without any question.
I think he'll be in that in between state of current and then Wemby.
I have a question. Interesting. This is a little off topic, but do you think that the face of the NBA needs to be an American player, or can they be overseas like Jokic? Or
I think it should be right now. I think it should be a Jokic.
Yeah.
But, let me rephrase. right now it should still be LeBron, Steph, and KD until they're gone, right? Until they retire.
Yeah, 100%.
I think afterwards you're looking at Jokic, you're looking at Wemby, you're looking at Anthony Edwards, you're looking at Luka Doncic.
And Shea.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not completely sold on Shea yet. We'll see. I want to see how he does in the playoffs again.
Yes, that's a good point.
So, but right now I think those are comfortably the new faces of the league.
I think you throw Jason Tatum in there too.
Oh yeah, obviously.
We'll see what he does in the playoffs.
Yeah, we got plenty. He's only 19. It's fine.
And Giannis.
Yeah, well, Giannis is older now, but like I said, we'll see. But yeah, I think the face of the league I think Anthony Edwards is definitely one of them. I kind of just like his whole attitude towards everyking. You know, he was talking his shit yesterday,
I love Anthony
but
Edwards,
he really will he'll give players credit.
Yeah.
Like
He's humble. He's like humble enough to like say like they did their thing too. It's not just me.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of players take the glory for themselves. He's like kind of like, you know.
We're in a humble era.
He's my favorite player in the league, not just because we have the same name, but just even coming out of college, he, I think, resembled, superstar number 1 pick out of
Absolutely.
a lot of players in recent years.
Yeah.
Like that's your lock, and he stepped up way more. Cat was a number 1 pick. Yes, Cat was
number 1 pick.
They had 2 number 1 picks that they kind of hit on. I think Ant definitely a little more hit on than Cat, but Cat is a hit on.
Yeah, Ant's more durable. It's not no sliding.
I
Cat.
think
Cat's great.
That their team is built. I mean, they played like the 1 seed. I think more than OKC. Well, OKC hasn't played.
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
so.
but I think
You could either look really smart or really dumb.
Yeah, they played like a legit 1 seed. I think if everything functions like it did yesterday, Phoenix. It's Phoenix. I don't know. After your top 3 of Book, Beal, Durant, you have role players, Grayson, who went down. Your bench isn't really that deep.
No, they never
Besides Eric Gordon.
They never had a deep bench. That's why they shouldn't have traded for Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Killed your whole depth with everything.
Yeah, they'll look back in a trade and kind of regret that a little bit.
You know what I think?
What?
Really quick, I think they should bench Bradley Beal.
Wait, talk a little louder.
I think that the Phoenix Suns should bench Bradley Beal.
I mean, he played better than Booker yesterday.
Yeah. I don't think you can bench someone of his
But you
caliber.
can't bench Booker.
You're not going to bench either. You're not going to bench any of them.
No.
The Suns won't do that.
No.
Because we're going to... Bro, the fact that Josh Okogie fell out of the rotation, like, bro, this team is in shambles.
Yeah.
Although, I do want to shout out Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
He played hard yesterday.
Yeah.
He was bumping bodies. He was physical. He was playing really well.
Yeah.
He was
Nurkic.
Him and KD were the only ones that actually showed up for Phoenix yesterday.
Nurkic is a player that, even on Portland with Dame, it just ran through bodies, just is going to rebound, is going to fight.
Huge.
Even with, I mean, Nurkic was drafted before Jokic, right? He came into
Denver
the league.
picked him in the first round.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. He's a big body. He's going to fight for rebound.
So wide and so tall.
Yeah, he always stands his ground when he's in the paint. And he's a player I always liked, even on Portland. You know, even going to Phoenix, it was interesting. But I always, with Portland, with Dame, with all those guys, they had their series, and he was always there for them. And
It's really just a matter of him staying healthy.
yeah.
And he finally has.
Yeah.
So
He does his job.
Unfortunately, there's not really much else help around him. And the fact that the Wolves got Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker going crazy off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will necessarily be a sweep because, like I said last year against the Nuggets, the Suns can get hot.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, we'll see. I think they steal at least a game
I think they'll take a
in
game.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
But
I think that's...
yeah, there wasn't really much else to kind of talk about with this game. But essentially, the Minnesota, Denver, OKC, it's almost like we have 3 1 seeds and 3 8 seeds between the Lakers, Pelicans, and Suns.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
And then you just got the Clippers and Mavs just kind of chilling in the middle.
Yeah, really, though.
Yeah.
But
Dead in the middle.
yeah, before we get into the final game, let me just quickly check score update for the Bucks and Pacers
I think
game.
they're in halftime.
No, the third quarter just started. The Bucks are up by 32, I think.
Still.
Okay.
No, my math. Sorry, 22. It's 71 to 49.
Okay.
Pacers started off the quarter on a 7-2 run. Dame's got 35.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the story of that
he's
game.
going to have to go nuclear if the Bucks want to make it anywhere like deep in the playoffs.
That's what,
So we'll see.
Exactly.
And then obviously not much really to talk about with our final game, but I think it was really interesting because it was the Cavs and the Magic, the East 4-5 game. We weren't really sure we were going to get from both of them.
No.
Obviously, the Cavs stinking up the gaff last year, and then the Magic being just a new team. It was only Paulo's second career national television game.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how.
It's not fair.
So, in the end, the Cavs really just put it to Orlando. They kind of just big bully balled them. Yeah. I don't think it was close either. Yeah, it was 93-87, although the Magic scored 15 points in the second quarter, 17 in the third.
97-83, you mean?
That's not going to get you many points. Paolo did all right. He had 24 points, wasn't the most efficient. And, outside of him, Spida had 30. Jared Allen had 16 and 18.
Yeah.
You got 16 from Mobley and 11 rebounds. Garland had 14. So I'll go over to you, Antoine, first. Takeaways from both teams in that game one.
I definitely think Orlando, it's what's the correct terminology? Just rustiness. I don't think.
I wouldn't say rusty.
No, not rust. I think
just young.
First playoff
inexperience.
Grooves.
First
just
playoff nerve.
Blues.
Oh, blues.
Blues. Yeah, like they don't know what to do per se. I don't think. Just all those players are young. You have a team made up of all your top draft picks in recent years.
Yeah.
No really veteran experience outside of Gary Harris. I would say
Joe Ingles.
And Joe Ingles. And
Joe
maybe
Ingles.
Wendell Carter.
I don't think he played.
Paolo Suggs, Anthony Black, Markel Fultz, Franz, all those young guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be some growing pains for sure. They're going to need probably some guys to step up down the line, some veterans.
They need to start a center in game two, because that I think was the most glaring aspect of at least this matchup, because the Cavs have Mobley and Allen.
Exactly.
I think you need to start either Mo Wagner, Goga Batadze. Pick whichever one, because you need a big body. You can't have Franz Wagner out there trying to guard Evan Mobley.
Yeah, I think for
the mismatch.
What about Wendell Carter?
Wendell's a big body, but not as tall as Allen.
Did he play yesterday?
He did. He played 15 minutes.
Yeah. He's another.
You can start him.
Yeah.
Honestly, pick whoever. He played 15 minutes, 3 points.
I think for
Mo Wagner should start personally.
Yeah, I like Mo.
Those are tall guys. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I think for the Cavs side, it's Donovan Mitchell. That's the story. He went off yesterday. He was hyping up the Cleveland crowd. He loves that city. I think, from getting traded there, I think that team has a place in his heart, and he wanted to make it his own team. And we'll see what happens in the offseason with what he wants to do. I think Jared Allen is a very sleeper, underrated center. Mobley showed up. They need those two to really just work together. And Mobley's another of your top draft picks. Allen's your center you re-signed this past offseason. Invested a lot of money into Garland. Got to step up a little more. I think you got to get more than just 14 points tonight from Garland.
Yeah.
Strus had, I think, 11 last night.
Played well.
Strus.
He's hit or miss typically.
Yeah, Strus is another guy that they signed that was a Miami favorite last year with Gabe Vincent. Needs to, hit his threes. I think this is Donovan Mitchell's, time to rise on a team that's not that experienced.
That's why I need to see more with Cleveland.
Yeah. I think Donovan Mitchell is a first-round beast.
Yeah.
Right? I think once he gets to the second round, it's...
Yeah.
Reminds me of someone.
Okay, we're not going to go there right now, because I don't feel like I need to have that.
We'll see. If they advance to the second round, he's still
Donovan
the same.
Mitchell's gotten his chain snatched by Jalen Brunson 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Yikes. No, but Mitchell, man, watching him play, though, he has everything you need in a guard to be successful. He can shoot it, he can drive, he can jump over you, he can do it. He can do it all.
If Cleveland doesn't make it out of this first series, I think two things happen. Bickerstaff is gone.
Well, he's gone. I think
that's the first.
They need to make the conference finals. They need to beat Boston for him to keep his job.
Yeah, I think he's gone, and I think Mitchell's gone.
I think Mitchell and Garland are both gone.
Wow.
So you think it's going to be a deal?
Blowing it up.
And they're going to blow it up, yeah. Because this offseason alone, they got to make a choice between Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. One's got to go.
Wow. I don't know.
No, they don't have the cap space. They do not.
It's hard.
Not under this new CBA with the penalty.
I could see Mobley leaving.
I think it's going to be Jared Allen. Jared Allen
Even
makes
though you
more
just
money.
re-signed him. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Jared Allen has not showed up in the playoffs.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll
Mobley-
see.
You
Mobley's
keep Mobley on
space
a
to
cheaper
grow.
deal, put him at this 5.
Exactly.
That's your center.
We'll see. So I don't know. It's a lot of implications that go along to it. I think with Orlando, I don't really think there's much to kind of fault them for. This is kind. I mean, again, Cleveland had home court. They're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Magic, I do think Jamal Mosley has adjustments in him. I just don't know necessarily if
it's
the Magic
their-
can do it necessarily, because like you can only ask Paolo of so much. It's his second year in the league, and you're already throwing him into a 4-5 matchup in the first round. Just as long as he doesn't disappear, he needs to play well, and I think that will give him confidence, and it'll give the team and the franchise confidence going forward into next year, where they can add more pieces like a Klay Thompson maybe.
Ooh,
Yeah. It's their first rodeo.
that's what they need.
The Magic have a deep bench as well. I think they need to move on for some pieces.
They need more shooting.
Yes, that's one. I think they have a lot of point guards. Cole Anthony's there, Jalen Suggs is there, Anthony Black is there, Markelle Fultz is there. All 4 of those guys are capable of being a starter. I think Suggs, you move back to the shooting guard position, and then you have Black, Cole Anthony, I think Markelle Fultz got to get moved
I don't know.
from.
I don't know
It's
which one stays, to be honest.
That's
Anthony
tough.
Black stays.
Yeah, of course. I
you-
think
could you
Cole
imagine?
Anthony stayed.
They're all like the same level of like guard.
Could you imagine like?
Yeah, they are.
Could you imagine if the Magic just decide to like save money and they just send off like Jalen Suggs to like the Nuggets or something?
Suggs would
imagine?
thrive in that system.
Could you imagine
Yo,
that? Because
that would be
I've seen reports of it.
I think another unfortunate thing is Jonathan Isaac not being able to stay healthy.
He's been a revelation this season.
I love.
Oh my God! Yesterday he
love
was all clamps.
Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah.
Bro,
If he stays healthy, DPOY.
no, for real.
Like
Yeah.
I'm glad he's been able to stay on the court this year, because people actually realize how good he
Yes, this
Yeah.
man is what, a top 3 pick in the draft.
No.
What was he? Top 5?
Top 6.
top
Top
6,
six.
7,
Yeah.
but he's already, when healthy, top
Yeah.
Yeah.
5, top 6 defender in the
Oh,
NBA
yeah,
right
easily.
now.
I seen him put the clamps on Giannis like it was
Yeah.
nothing.
Isaac is, when he's a Florida State player, came really good play, just injuries, but now he's back, and that's a player they're gonna. I know he's a little frustrating because he's the injury problems, but he needs to be on that court with them. In him and Paolo, they invested a lot into Isaac. They were another like a team like Denver. They're patient with
Yeah,
him. They didn't
trust
move
the
on
process.
from Isaac,
Well, Isaac
right
also,
away.
He also had no value because he was
Yeah,
hurt so
of
many
course.
years in a row.
So they had no
Portis was
choice.
kind of spaced out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think,
Isaac's the player I've always liked.
I mean, yeah, I think if
You know.
if the Magic can just keep developing, start whichever point guard you want with Anthony Black, and then you have Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero.
Let's not forget
And
they
whatever side of that.
also drafted Jet Howard in their other second pick last year, who's been in the
He's
G
a more,
League a
he's a more
lot.
high risk, high reward guy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily sure what you're going to get from Jet Howard,
No,
but he could come good. We never know. He could turn good.
Juwan Howard's
Yeah.
son
Mm-hmm.
from Michigan.
So
One thing really quick, if the Magic somehow gets some shooting, like you said, Klay Thompson, if Klay Thompson has a turnaround season, he starts to go off and he's on the Magic.
that's why I think they
I
could
can
potentially
see-
trade Suggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
100%.
By the way, Suggs shot horribly yesterday.
Yeah.
Suggs is not.
Suggs is there for defense.
Yeah,
He's their energy bringer.
he's not like when his Gonzaga days.
No.
No.
Shooting in the NBA is a totally different
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah,
Totally
It
different
is.
beast.
But no, yeah. So if they get some shooting, not Mavs, Magic.
Orlando.
Madge.
Magic, I can see them getting to a top 3 seed next year. It's
possible.
I mean,
core of
let's-
young players.
Let's be fair. It's not that hard. It's the Eastern Conference. They literally were tied. They were a game back of the 3 seed.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe they. How about this instead for any young up and coming teams within 10 games of the Boston Celtics?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Because realistically speaking, in the West, I don't see much movement going on as far as like star players requesting out. I just don't see it. I
No.
think the East is still going to be a shit show next year,
Yeah,
and we'll see. Because I mean, I don't know. It's really tough, and obviously, I do expect the shitters in the Eastern Conference to get better next year.
Yeah.
Can only
Yeah.
hope the Nets get better. I think we'll definitely see an upgrade for Detroit.
yes.
Their young core is looking good.
There is already rumors of Tobias going back to Detroit. If he
Yeah.
leaves Philly, I don't know if That's going to be interesting.
Tobias is not even on my radar.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess Detroit has just something. I don't know. That's what I saw earlier.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the only true power forwards left in the NBA right now. So
yeah.
Teams would want that.
Yeah, I guess.
And then I think you'll see more from Toronto. You'll see more from
Toronto's going to get better.
Yeah, you'll see more from Toronto. You'll see hopefully more from Chicago and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Whatever moves they decide to make.
Atlanta, I don't know.
So
we'll see what happens.
It depends on the returns they get for Trae Young and for Jontay Murray.
Yeah.
But
that's all we got for that.
But yeah, anything else? Any final thoughts on the first round games?
No,
Drew a blank.
I don't think we've seen a lot, but I don't think we've seen every team's full potential right now. In the first
exactly.
We'll see. We'll have something for you guys next week.
Yeah. As far as next week goes, obviously we could potentially be seeing some sweeps happen. Not sure, because we record these kind of like afternoon, early evening type podcasts. So a lot of the game fours happen on some of the game fours happen on Saturday. Cavs Magic. Then on Sunday we see the rest of the game fours happen. So I'm not sure yet, essentially, what series will be over by then. But for the most part, we'll get more of a sense, because we've only seen one game from each series.
Yep.
And no games from the Thunder and Pelicans. But we'll get more of a sense on the series and like how they'll play out, what series are over, what series will go to 7 games and whatnot. And then, players in and out the lineup, we'll see without certain pieces, with and without, what they can mean. And obviously there's not really much else happening in the league around April, so it's just playoff basketball. And then as we get into May, we'll get into the draft lottery and stuff like that. So essentially that's the end of today's episode 2. Obviously we'll throw it back over to you, Gio. Any we need for those still with the flow of the video, what should they comment?
For what?
If they're still with the flow of the video, what should they comment?
Comment down below.
It's one
Russ
word.
and 4.
No, one word.
Oh.
Comment Ant-Man.
We did that last week.
Yeah. Oh, we did?
Yeah.
We did, actually.
Let's
do cheddar.
Cheddar?
Comment down below cheddar.
Cheddar.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll know the real ones in the comment section.
Yeah. Let's go.
So, but yeah, obviously, we hope you all enjoy the rest of the playoffs for this week. Obviously, some good first round games, some good series heating up, and obviously just for us as well. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I don't think there's any other platforms we're on. Just keep an eye out for shorts, and TikTok return this Wednesday. We've been shadow banned, we think, so we've kind of taken a little bit of a break from TikTok.
Insane.
So yeah, essentially that's kind of been that. Follow us on our socials at Floor Spacer Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the Floor Spacer Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Follow us on all our socials, which you can see down below on whatever end of the screen for each of us. And anything else for you guys?
We're good.
No, that's it from us. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good week. And as per usual, we'll see you all next Wednesday.